Yeah, no, I think it is. I'd say I found it more interesting than I enjoyed it, but I don't like. I quite like that in terms of a pick because it's like I don't know. It's something to Well, firstly, it's something that I probably wouldn't have watched off my own back, which I always like as a pick. But secondly, I just think it's like we haven't really had anything like this before, where it's sort of like two films that feed into one another, and
I mean, it's kind of
Yeah,
hard.
it's interesting.
Oh, hey, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, wait,
Hey,
Emmanuel. Before we start,
Mm-hmm.
did you watch Solo Leveling on Crunchyroll for me?
I watched it a bit. I watched tiny bits here and there. Yeah, that's why. It's
Okay. I got really confused because I was like, I have my Crunchyroll now. And I was like, oh, I might start something else. And it says, Solo Leveling episode 4? Wait, what? I didn't. Wait, when did this happen? I was like, oh wait, it's like, all right, someone else probably watched it, and I was like, who else was Solo Leveling? All right, of course, Emmanuel. Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah.
He'd be rolling. He'd be crunchy rolling.
Oh god damn it, man.
Anyway, yeah, the manhwa is. Have you read it?
Yeah, I think I've finished it, not including all like the second stories or side stories and stuff, but I've essentially finished the story, so I know what happens and stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing it animated in Japanese.
But
it's all right.
Yeah, I was about to say it's okay, but it looks. I feel like, without making it sound weird, it looks better as a comic, as a manga, than as a manhwa instead of actual animated. I feel it's a bit. Does it capture the feeling? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is the original kind of Korean comic, the art style is just so good and so impressive, and all they do, like how they draw it all, is so good. When they do it in the kind of Japanese animation, it's not like an amazing quality one. It's not Demon Slayer quality. It's like it's decent. It's good. It's better than this movie. Sorry, not the shit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
But it's like a good standard kind of quality. The action and kind of animation was good and what they was doing. But it feels just like another Japanese anime rather than what it was that made it special in the first place. But yeah, I get what you're saying. And it's one of those things. I think they would have needed probably a much bigger budget, to kind of get closer to that. I think that's the thing.
Well, it's A1 Pictures, which is not like, it's not bad. A1 Pictures. Let's not get that twisted. A1 Pictures is a good production company. It's made like other stuff as well. Like oh shit! Now that I've said it, I can't remember what they've made. I know that they've worked with Sword Art Online, and Sword Art Online is like really, really popular.
Yeah, that's good.
What else? Oh wait, no, yeah, they've helped made fucking Fate, and Fate has money. Well, no, okay, sorry. Fate has the budget. Fate makes fucking like mobile games, so they have the burnable cash. They have, so that's probably why they're like studios. But it's like because of the company and the studio, it's like it shouldn't be too bad, but it's just not the best. And I don't know if even if you was to give it to like a better studio, let's say like who is the top ones currently, like let's say a Madhouse, or if we was going to give it to like a Mappa, well maybe not Mappa because like of the horrible working conditions, but like if you give it to like one of those other studios, it's like they probably do really good with it, but it's like it just won't capture the same sort of magic. And I'm like, that's, oh, we'll see. But the main thing is we're really glad that it's not using I mean, it uses a little bit, but it doesn't overuse CGI for like the monsters and stuff. I was so worried it's gonna be really fucking janky. but
Which
it
is
wasn't. So that's good. I mean, there's certain bits where you see, all right, yeah, obviously the way that it's animated, it's got like a little bit of a CG like tonal thing on it, which is fine because if it's like not noticeable, it doesn't matter. If it's noticeable, but it doesn't look that bad, it's also okay.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as it's not like Berserk, we're fine. But so this is just like, it's not too bad. This is just that it doesn't capture the magic that was the actual comic book series, which is a shame. It is a shame, but it's good. And
Patrick left.
he was here earlier. Then if he went off to go to the toilet, I'll become annoyed, right?
You never know when Pat's gonna need the toilet.
Yeah, which is a good point. Where's Alec?
I don't know, but I think we should give him shit for being late, as he would us.
wait. Let's just message the chat and say.
Yes, you give him a bit of leeway, but at the same time, it's like whenever I'm late, I don't mind if you guys start first. So in theory, you should start right now.
Alec.
But it's pretty late without him saying anything.
Where you at? Hello. Okay. So I mean,
I just realized what shirt you're wearing, Simon.
It's a
Sundry.
It's a very stupid anime shirt. I feel like it's appropriate for this, which isn't. It's appropriate enough. I think someone says I have a shirt for every occasion. That's not quite true. I just have lots of shirts, and sometimes they just coincide. I have so many shirts to the point where someone said, I don't need to buy any more shirts unless I want them, I guess. But that's about it.
That's my problem.
But I'm a fan of this particular genre of thing, and I need the shirt. Do you need the t-shirt? No, but I want the t-shirt. Okay, fine. Yeah, so that's a problem of mine. How many? I guess the question is like, how much of your wardrobe is just t-shirts?
Oh yeah, plenty.
Mine's probably like maybe 35%, maybe even more 40%.
Mine is like probably 75%, 80%.
Wow.
T-shirts. At the moment, I've got like a nice kind of old school Japanese, kind of traditional house with some cats in it. It's just a nice, cool shirt. I'll probably show it in a bit. I just happen to have that on. So yeah, just happen to have a Japanese theme one on.
Right, and okay, that's a interesting thing about that. Okay, let's not talk about his private life. I guess. Let's.
Oh yeah.
I think that's actually private. I think we should mention that though. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, here he is. Hey, Alec.
Hey, sorry, I was taking a shit.
Oh, guess what? Who else is?
That would be quite a twist if you were right now, Ben.
Oh, wow.
Guess who else is? This guy. No, sorry. I was talking to my sister about an absolutely woeful interaction she had on what was it? Bumble. Social. Yeah, she was on social Bumble. Absolutely woeful interaction. And she went, this guy went, do you want to go to Wagamama's for dinner? And she went, no, I don't want to go to Wagamama's. And he went, but they've got a hot pot now. I was like, you fucking loser.
I mean, it could have been like a thing about it. It's like, oh, it's actually quite nice now. Oh, no. Oh, they've got a hot pot. What the fuck is that shit?
I couldn't help hearing it as like, but they fixed the McFlurry machine.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it.
Like, are you that fucking invested in fucking Wagamama's that you're like, if this woman's not gonna be like that bothered about Wagamama's, I ain't in.
No, and provided no reasons. just try something else.
Thank you.
Yeah,
There-
I mean, like,
Probably a reason they're on Social Bumble.
I like the idea that this guy's going to relax into this video after we upload it tonight. He's going to be like, time to see what my favourite film club are up to. Oh, what the fuck?
If you're watching this by happenstance, get a fucking life. Stop eating at Wagamama's. Shut up. They're just stealing your money for no reason. And stop
like-
talking to my fucking sister. You're an idiot.
In all seriousness, Hot Pot ain't like that special, to be honest. And like, there's probably better places than Wagamama's to get fucking Hot Pot, to be honest, right? It's like, Jesus.
To be fair, though, well, actually, no. I was going to say bear in mind that this person is in, but I won't say.
Is in what?
Huh?
In what?
I was going to say the county that you live in.
Oh.
Don't ruin all our locations.
Oh,
I just can't imagine there's many options for a hot pot in
In
in the Denver Broncos.
in the
Yeah. In somewhere anonymous.
Actually, that reminds me, when you... Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. Never mind. I'll tell you guys in a second about the Crunchyroll stuff. It's a very interesting, weird... It was very weird.
I can't wait to hear about the Crunchyroll stuff. Do you want to hear this? No. Okay, just shaking her head. That's all right.
Right.
In a good way. She's smiling.
About Wagamama's?
That's good.
No one's smiling about Wagamama's.
I was about to say.
What a piece of shit restaurant. That's good
Hey
for me.
man.
But they
they've
do
got a
hot
pot
pot.
Fuck it.
They do something nice now. Actually, I can't remember what it was though.
Is it called a hot pot?
I've not had the
Is it
hot pot.
It's hot.
I'll have to
Hard
ask
to believe.
Rachel. To be fair, I got it about 6 months ago, so if I haven't mentioned it in that time, it's probably not as big as.
It's
I'm
not as
making
good as
out now.
garlic mushrooms, I'll tell you that.
I find it hard to believe the quality done back up. They used to be good once upon a time, but now every time I've eaten there, it's just been a disappointment, and I'm just like, it's just sad.
I'm only ever really disappointed by it when it's takeaway.
Oh,
The
that's
most
even worse.
pleased I am with it generally is when Alec gets his food late because it means he gets an extra dish and I eat it.
Everyone wins.
Honestly, if I'd have had to pay for that shit, I'd have lost my mind. they did a good one. Just going like, just give it to him for free for that one. By the way, that's 20 quid. No, excuse me.
No, it's not. What?
Actually, I think you'll find it's not 20 quid. I think you'll find just because you do hot pot now, I'm not actually good. It's generated no goodwill from me.
Simon, remember to verify your email.
Sorry, what?
Yes, Simon.
Verify your email.
Verify your email, Simon.
Verify my email. Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Crunchyroll was telling us to verify our email throughout.
does it matter? I mean, like,
For what Crunchyroll says goes, I'm afraid.
oh,
Oh,
no.
Simon, if you want 40% off Crunchyroll, I've got a code.
Oh shit.
Okay, I'll discuss that with you in a second.
Equally,
So,
if you want to
next.
tell Crunchyroll to fuck off, I've got a code they can use.
Have you heard about the Anime Awards, Alec? We need to vote. Like
No
it-
one's heard of the Anime Awards because they don't matter.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. But like, it's mainly because like because like
They do matter.
you want. No. Right? It's just like I tried to watch one, and afterwards I went, well, everyone's sucking My Hero Academia stick. We don't need to watch anymore. It's just like it's either it's
I
the
knew
most
it had
popular
got out of
ones.
hand.
Hmm?
I knew it got out of hand when I uploaded I uploaded a picture, but it was for It was the Chinese Zodiac one for horse, and I had to do the tags, and I wrote in the tags centaur. And one of the suggestions was like, "Do you mean centaur wedgie?" And I went, "No." I'm willing to bet that's an anime thing, and it was. It was. I thought that's fine. You keep that. I don't need to see any more anime. Sorry, you were saying a thing.
Centaur wedgie. It
Centaur
sounds like.
wedgie.
It sounds like. No, okay, no, I won't. I won't go on to what that possibly could sound like. Never mind. Anyways, wait, am I doing
I'm just
it
saying, there's no way that's not Japanese.
Well, it could be D&D. I don't know, but there's the really weird D&D people.
Right, sorry, you were saying a thing about anime.
It could be Baldur's Gate. But
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. Hmm.
Like I say, if you got proof it's not Japanese, I will apologize, but it sounded slightly Japanese.
I just sent something to chat. I was just like, wait, why is the name different?
Oh,
I'm
that's that was something that I wanted to bring up actually. The
yeah,
name in the opening credits of the red one was different, but it was a better name.
Oh, to the
was it?
singular me who loved you.
Yeah.
Sochi,
Oh,
you love you.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is weird. Is that like? Wait, let me look at the.
Was
So
the
it's not
literal
readable.
translation different to the actual translation?
So you said to the single me who loved you. IMDb has to the solitary me who loved you. So had to me, the one who loved you.
You, as in me, referring to you. That's the issue.
Yeah, but it's
To
but
me,
Emmanuel,
meaning me.
but
To
it's
you, which means
it's-
you.
it's Boku, as in BOKU. So it has to be. It just means me.
Yeah.
It should
Yeah,
just say
referring to you.
to me non-plural.
Oh, no, actually, no. I actually
What's
do
it on
like.
that box?
I do like Pat's version of how he named the film. He calls it. Okay, so am I watching Pokemon Blue or am I watching Pokemon Red? And I was like, that's fair enough. If you don't know the names, just call it Pokemon Blue or Red, and it's like it's fine.
I'm very interested to see how this shakes out because me, Rob, and Ben watched it blue first, and you guys watched it red first, and I want to see how that shook out.
Okay, so should I
Let's
just
get into it.
should I start?
Yeah, Pat will be wiping, so
Yeah, it'll be another 20 minutes.
you just do what you don't want to do.
So-
Simon, why did you pick this film?
I chose these films because people.
Why did you
really,
pick this singular film with this singular film?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's odd, right? It's two films, but it's one film technically. It just happened, but this happened twice now. It's just one very long film, or is it two films joined together? I chose these films because I heard that I heard about the premise. The premise seemed really interesting about the parallel worlds with two movies running, well, parallel together, and how the stories interact with each other. And like from what I understood, depending on which movie you watched first, that it would change the context for the other movie. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I can't watch it by myself. I need at least two other people to watch this film to tell me if they changed like the attitude to watching this film. And currently we have 3 people who watched Blue first, and another 3 people watched Red first. And there's like, that's a good split. That's a good split. We can see how it went, because watching it now, I thought it was, because I mean, obviously I haven't watched it before because it's like first time I watched it, and I think because I've watched it red, blue, and back to red again, I feel like I can say I probably had a better choice watching red first. In all honesty, because I think me watching red first is probably better than me watching blue first. And I could see Rob's face. I feel like Rob was like, oh, Rob is coughing.
That's it.
Yeah, Rob is.
Sorry.
Spiritually, I'm in the same place.
Yeah, I think watching Red first was probably better than watching Blue first. But Blue is the original world, or original or zero on the context, and everything else is 1 or 85.
Oh.
And like that's different. But like watching Red first gave context for Blue, but watching Blue first is the chronological order, from what I understand. I'm not 100% sure. But I feel like watching them.
Oh, I was just reacting. I said, what?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how, because Red, if you was to read like the wiki and stuff, is the parallel world, and Blue is the original world.
Well,
But
I'm sure that's like Africans are foreign until I'm from Africa, and then English people are foreign. Good night. Love you. Not you guys. You're idiots.
That was quite a sign off, to
I
be
did
fair.
int-
That was.
Okay,
I've said enough.
Love you.
but in all seriousness, watching this film was interesting. It was an interesting watch. Obviously, I feel like everyone who's watched it, especially of our group, agrees that the voice acting is not the greatest. It's a
Yeah.
bit lackluster, from what I understand, and the actual animations is early 2000s.
I think
Let's just say that.
I think the animation. I was saying to Ben and Pat earlier. Like, I think it's a bit. I think there's instances where you can see where they might have tried to save a bit of time.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
There was a few sheets. There was a few scenes where, like, if you look in their eyes, to create the effect of light, it's just like layers of semi-transparent circles, and there's just things like that where it's like, oh, I wish you hadn't done that.
Yeah, I feel like it
Yeah.
could have been better. I'll tell you where they didn't cut the budget and animation for, though. They didn't cut the budget and animation for today's sponsor, Guinness.
Oh, nice.
Yay.
I purposely bought this again.
Goodness.
Every time there's like a drink or something, I always drink it. And now, just listen to that cold snap. Ah, perfect.
But
You're
Simon,
literally
where's your
time
glass?
travel.
Oh
Where's your
shit!
glass?
And he doesn't need a glass for that one because that's cheap Guinness. He's got the carbon dioxide one rather
Oh,
than the
shit.
Oh
nitrogen.
right, yeah.
It's
Oh
not-
yeah.
Wait, Simon, you need a glass.
No, not for
I
that
don't
one.
need a
That's the
glass.
carbon dioxide one. That one,
Oh.
you don't get ahead off that one.
That's what she said.
Woo-hoo. Simon, I find that very, very interesting. I'm curious to see if anyone who watched the blue one would say that they preferred watching the red one first, because obviously you've watched the red one first and you think that that's like the better order, whereas I watched the blue one first and I think that's the better. So I'd be curious if anyone's got like the opposite take to one of us.
I think I watched the blue one first, but I think I'd have preferred to watch the red one first
Okay.
because I
Interesting.
think. Sorry.
I thought the blue one. I thought going blue first helped the red one because the blue one is sort of. I felt like if the blue one is setting the stage a bit, watching the red one kind of gives it it gives it room to go faster.
Hmm.
Right.
Whereas watching the red one first, I feel like it just diminishes the blue one a bit. Because like it's just like, hey, we've gone from bang, we've had like this big sort of story about we're gonna go and achieve a goal. Let's go do it. And then you get to the blue one and it's like, right, okay, now slow right back down, like back over there, like right back down. And you're gonna sit there for a bit. And I was like, fucking hell. This is now so exposition heavy and it's so
Yeah.
slow.
So that's the thing that I would like take away from it is that the exposition that's in blue is so like thick that it kind of implies that it should be the first one. But I think where it maybe works a bit better for that to be the second one is you have everything that goes on in the red, and then in the blue it's like, oh, okay, that's why he's important now, and like that's what was going on here and that kind of thing. So it's like it almost feels like blue's a supplement to the red one, but
Yeah.
you kind of need to chop off the first third to get that.
Supposedly,
That's an excellent way to put it, because
Yeah.
I think red gets greedy, and it takes a little payoff in like the last 2 seconds, which I think would have been better achieved in blue.
oh,
And it's like, oh, by the way, his alternate self meets up with Shuri, and I was like, can you fucking just calm your ass down and let Blue have that one? Like Blue had more. Like let Blue have that payoff, because Blue's not got a lot going for it right now. It's got the clunkiest fucking exposition ever. Do you mind? Do you mind having like you had the like way more easier integrated exposition in there, because it's actually like interspersed with a lot of other things.
Mm.
So it kind of it feels easier to swallow. You've got like an actual goal in mind for that one, and then yeah, after you when you finish the red one, it's like there's no reason to watch the blue one necessarily, because you know that they met up anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, I guess you watch the blue. Whereas if you watch the blue one first, you get all the exposition, and you get the ending, and you go, I don't really understand that, but all right. And then you watch the red one, and you go about half an hour, and you go, oh, that was Shuri. Oh, okay. They meet up at the end, and then you find out that they do meet up at the end. And I was like, okay, there you go. That's nice. There's still something there.
supposedly.
Blue, you kind of go like, nah, there's not really a lot of.
Supposedly, you're supposed to watch them. I've heard, like, again, this is grain of salt. Is Reddit. It's supposed to, if you're supposed to like watch it in tandem with each other. You're supposed to watch like
Wait, at the same
5
time.
minutes of blue, 5 minutes of red,
Well,
10 minutes of
In
blue.
that case,
like,
why didn't they make a supercut with like a 3-hour movie with the
someone
just, like,
is,
an order?
Hey,
someone
hey,
is
you're
trying.
you're
Someone is
you're the
actually trying.
miniseries
Don't say
guy.
that, Ben.
It'll
Someone
make
is
it in,
actually
it'll
trying.
make it miniseries in order. That's what
You're
I
the
think.
miniseries man. You're
Yeah,
not
this-
supposed
this-
to go for longer stuff. That's inconsistent.
This sounds like a terrible idea, because like surely if there's a supercut, like the first like hour and a half is just going to be all the exposition clumped together. I guess.
Yeah, but
Yes.
it really depends on how your exposition is come together, anyways. Because both movies have the exposition of, hey, there's parallel worlds, deal with it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is.
Because both
quite strict.
films start with that. It's like he sees the
Yeah.
bubbles of him saying, "Hey, we've got parallel worlds." I was like, okay, sure.
I
That's
did-
like,
That was one thing that kind of went off a little bit in my mind, because it was like, yeah, there's all these parallel worlds and they could be so different, but we all describe them in the same way.
Yeah.
Right. Let's let everyone else voice some things.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I've obviously said my bit, and Simon's obviously said his bit. But let's hear from other people.
Okay. I will say my piece because it's an interesting.
If you
Well-
say it good,
It is good, but I will go on. I liked the blue story more than the red. However, I feel that the blue story was better once I knew more of context from the red story, if that makes sense. Because once I saw the whole thing in one like giant like piece, it kind of like filled in all the gaps and all the plot holes. However, it's like how it's constructed. It's such a intricate and maybe overly complex movie, because I feel like the blue one is the slow one, more exposition, more drama, and very, very like the pacing is so much different. But all the emotion is in that one. I had more an emotional connection to the blue story because you could see the journey of his character going into as a kid, going into old age, and so you get more of a sense of time passing and how these women meant so much to him. And in the red story, it's more focused on like just his like as Alex said, it was his goal and his mission to try and get what's her face back from Limbo, and that is
I would
the
have preferred it if that was her name.
yeah, what's her face? I can't remember.
Why are you doing this? I need to bring what's her face back.
She's so important. That's
can't-
what's so interesting is that the focus of each film is quite different. He's kind of living his life in the Blue story, and he's accepting how things are until he gets to, like, the rug pull moment at the end. It's like, wait, there was this ghost girl that I saw right in the beginning of my childhood, and it's kind of like all linked in together. And then the Red story is so focused on him as a kid, and then going into college and learning about everything he can to try and get this girl back, because that is everything in his life. So I'm a bit conflicted in terms of, like, I enjoyed the Blue story much more because of the emotional connection to it, but it doesn't work without the Red story because of all the technicalities you need to learn and be aware of that the Red story brilliantly puts together. So yeah, you kind of do need the Red one first, but I feel like the crux of it is all in the Blue. It's just, yeah, I feel like if I rewatched both again, I have a different opinion on it, but that is not necessarily a right way to watch each one, unless you keep watching the next one again after you've seen the Red versus the Blue versus the Red versus the. So you have to keep kind of like going back and forth.
I'd recommend you do it in the opposite order, because I started with Blue and went Red, and went, wow, Red was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat. And then I started with Red, and then I went to Blue, and I went, wow, Blue's kind of fucking boring now. It was like, it's not to say that Blue's worse. It's just in comparison when you've gone from, I need to save Shuri, 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 and then you go back and it's like,
it's more urgent.
I'm gonna be kind of, I suppose, dating some lady who may or may not be in the multiverse, and I don't know, maybe she is, maybe she isn't.
But yeah, it's a bit of both, kind of like you're not really sure what his focus is and who his true love is, and maybe that's the point. He kind of like he's so drawn to these two women in different ways. He wants a life with one, but he wants the life that he might have with another, but he knows he can't have. So that is always a bit of flux going on. So I do find it quite a fascinating film, but I do feel like the technicality and the semantics of it all does bog it down a bit in terms of when it should be really emotional. It kind of like all this stuff to do with the time shifting and the parallel worlds makes you lose sight of the core of the story of just this long lost love and this longing and friendship he has with these women. So it's a really hard balance to crack, but with like sort of viewings would help that, but it hinders your experience, I feel.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, because I came out of Blue thinking, okay, that was kind of cool, but I felt like I needed more context, and knowing that they were sort of like parallel films or whatever, and that you're supposed to sort of take bits from one and apply them to the other and all of that, I was kind of like, cool, that's basically what I expected to think at the end of that. And then I watched Red, and it was like, well, that seemed like a complete story. Like it's like yeah. And I think you can see, this is something else that I found interesting, is that they were made by different people. So
I thought that was really weird.
It kind of feels like maybe one got the brief more than the other.
Yeah.
Wait, when you say made, do you mean like directed by, or do you mean like, because
Yeah,
I think it's the
directed and
same
written
novel
by
as the
different
one person?
I think
Yeah,
directed and
different
written,
people.
like they're adapted like from the same stuff, but like different people made the two.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. It's made by Rigo Sakaguchi, and the other one is June. Oh, yeah. Okay, and okay, that. Oh, I did not know that. I guess that could also just be the director's choices of how to animate certain scenes. Then Because if that change, oh damn.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange one because it's like, well, like I said, like it feels like one leans on the other a bit more heavily, and yeah, I don't know. Like it does kind of feel like they maybe went in with different ideas of how this was going to work, which I think is a shame because I think like the concept of it, where you've got sort of two films that rely on one another and all of that stuff, that's all really interesting. And the whole thing where you can watch them any way around and it changes your sort of experience of it, like all of that is so cool. I just don't know if it's been pulled off very well because of that. I think like the stuff with the exposition and it repeating itself a lot and all of that, like that sort of comes with the idea, I suppose, because if it's going to be that you can watch them any way round, then you're going to have to sit through some of the stuff twice. But yeah, I don't know. Like it just feels, well, like I said earlier, it feels like one supplementary to the other. It doesn't feel like two complete experiences that interact with one another.
I mean, well, there's this pin on that as well, because essentially there's also a touch of time travel on it, which is the reason why the Guinness is involved. So it kind of like, not only are you watching the same scenes twice, you watched it again because of the credits that were in red about them falling through the imaginations, the sea of imagination. I don't know how they explained it, but like how they're dropping like the bubbles. Essentially, they're going back in time and doing it again. So essentially, it's like you watch both when you watch it again, because that's how the story went. Because they went back and did a big whole fucking time loop again. So it's like, oh, that hurts my brain a bit. But like, all right, I get it. No, but it makes sense in its own way, because Blue. The whole point of Blue is Shiori does not exist in his life, in Kiyomi's life at all. That's the only way to save her. But because of context of Red is the reason why Blue happened the way that Blue did.
Right.
And that's like, oh yeah, but if that didn't happen, there wouldn't be context of the story for it to happen that way. And I feel like, admittedly speaking, the main part of the story is in Blue, but you do need context from Red to give you the reason for the story of Blue.
I'm curious why you guys think the main story's in Blue.
But no, because Blue, if you was to read like the synopsis from like Wiki, is World Zero, technically speaking. And Zero is the original world that they are in. And technically speaking, Blue is World Zero. And from our perspective, Red is like World something. It's a bigger number. I don't know what it is.
But no one's really
69.
no one's really doing anything in Blue. A lot of the main action's coming from Red.
Well, no. But like in the sense of the world, because you see how in Blue the world has developed incredibly, insanely much, where you have walkways that flash up from the floor and have red barriers to go, hey, dumbass, don't cross the fucking walkway. It's not your turn yet. And it's like, oh, okay, it's just like the concept of the Blue world is more developed, and thus is the original world or prime world. And it's like, oh, I guess, but it's like, that's the way that it's being explained. But the only reason that Blue exists and the way it does exist is because they did something stupid in Red the first time because of his dog dying, and that's the reason why there's Blue. Because I actually made myself a bit confused now as well. I'm thinking which because if that's like, it's a parallel world, but because he jumped into their parallel world, or they switched in parallel worlds, that makes it that they're not the original parallel world. Fuck. Okay.
That's
Anyway,
messing
anyway,
We'll get
let's-
into it.
yeah, we'll get. I'll get. Patrick, what did you think of the film?
Didn't realise I was muted. Did I like the films? No.
Okay, fair enough.
There was far too much going on. I get what each film was trying to do, but there was too many branches to each. And I found, especially Blue, I got myself lost in that film very quickly. I thought they were decent films. Like, I liked what they were doing. I think probably the most that I got out of it was the production. Like, I did really like the animation and the music. I think that's what kept me sort of interested, I guess. Yeah, I'd say Red was probably enjoyed the most. But Blue, I don't say Blue seemed like a mess, but there was just too much going on. I guess it would probably be cleared with another watch, but I'm not going to watch it again.
Fair enough. Because I was just worried that you wouldn't like it because it's like a romantic comedy, and I was like, ah. But if you said there's certain parts that you just
Nah,
couldn't quite get through it, and you're like you
I
got
felt-
confused.
I liked the way the sort of the relationship, like the ideas were pretty cool. I think it's just something that I just didn't. I didn't have a problem with the characters. I think it's times it didn't know what story to tell.
That's fair. I've heard people who've watched this and criticized this that the story wasn't done gracefully. It's there. It's just a bit janky, and I think that's a very fair
Yeah.
analysis on it. Okay, yeah.
It's very style over substance.
Yes, yeah. Actually, yeah. I've read, yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
it.
that's basically my
That's an interesting one.
opinion of it.
In terms of my view of it, so a lot of what I feel was said by different people in different bits and whatnot, which is quite cool. But the feeling that Red felt like a complete film, like when I watched Red, and I watched that one first. I think I had watched it first. I chose to watch it first because of the naming. I was just like, oh, to every you have watched, loved before. Sounds like something I should watch second. It was just like in my head like that. Because I kind of took the name. But wait, actually, I can put my camera on now. I think.
I like that. I said, oh, you three watch Red first, and we three watch Blue first, and you went, I'm gonna watch the Blue one last because that seems like the one I should watch second.
Yeah. But yeah, and so yeah, the Red one, like some others were saying, for me it felt like, okay, this is a complete film. There might have been one or two things that were missing that are in the second film, say, but for the most part, I felt like, okay, this was the film. When I watched the second one, and what I found interesting is the second one, sorry, not the second one, the Blue one.
Just go Red and Blue.
Yeah, Red and Blue. Don't say first and second. It'll get really confusing if you go first and second.
The reason I think of it a second as well, but the Blue one, the reason I think of the Blue one as the other one in my head as well. So when it first starts, it starts as if it's the end of the red one.
I've heard people say that as well. Shit, yeah.
Yeah, the end of the red one is, oh, he wakes up like, oh, I guess I'm still alive. And then that whole scene where he goes to
Yeah,
the
it
like
does.
and meets. And then the blue one, that's how it starts. So it feels like, if you watch it that way, it feels like you're watching the second episode of an anime. It's recapping on what
Yeah.
you just saw,
Recap.
which is a very normal thing in most episodes of lots of things. They quickly recap and then they start the story.
Even some of the flashbacks in like Blue, which are like silent with a song over the top, you're like, wait, you don't know what this context is until you obviously see the red film, and you're like, oh wait, this is what happened in real time. So hang on, that this makes sense while we're seeing it this way around.
And like other people said as well, the red one, I think you said, Ben, I was thinking the same thing. Like the red one helps me understand a lot of the mechanics technically. And it was quite dense in a way. It reminded me of Ghost in the Shell in some ways. How it can just be
Ugh.
so dense and not really try to explain certain things. Like this in the blue film, there's a line. It talks about the world had um kind of quantum computerized. And if you understand how quantum computing and quantum mechanics works, that makes that's a fine analogy. But if you don't know how that works, a light almost fell. It's okay. Um, but if you don't understand like at least a basic concept of quantum computing and other stuff, it's just like I w- I'm just sitting there thinking, wait, I get it, but will other people get it? Will they think of Schrodinger's cat? Will they think of super supposition or super imposition or all the things that go into quantum mechanics? Will they think of that when they hear that line, or will they just like what will they get from it? There's okay. There's a lot of things like that throughout, and I was like, okay. And there's some kind of interesting, like I wouldn't say Easter eggs or references to some programming stuff in there, which is interesting. But main kind of thing, similar to what other people were saying, the blue one, I was like, okay, this film feels like it's a supplement to Red. It feels like here's the story you didn't see of the one who had, a happier life for the most part. Yes, he unfortunately lost his grandfather, but other than that, most of his life, uh, you could say emotionally in different ways was better, or maybe he was a bit more fulfilled in different ways. It's just like, okay, this is how his story went. Because obviously, in each way, each film, at the end of the films, you do see a quick summarization of the other film. So it just felt like they were like, okay, so this is what you didn't see. And I still am glad I watched the red one first. Because I think if I watched the blue one first, I would have been like, I I didn't get to like I missed all of this. It's kind of like a when I watch the red one first and see the blue one afterwards, it's more like, oh, I don't need to see this, but it's kind of like gives a bit more, I guess, context to like what's happened to the other character who chose to stay with his mom instead. All right. With the other one, if I watched the blue one first and the red one afterwards, I would have been like, similar to other people said, like, oh, all this happens. And barely any of it I was really aware of. And I think what I would have liked for the blue one, like, yes, necessarily it didn't necessarily have drama in this kind of stuff compared to the red. And the only kind of thing that was extra that was happening was, oh, that time he parallel shifted in that other world, their son died, and he doesn't really talk about it, of course, when he wakes up with his wife, and all that kind of happens. I think what I would have liked was, I guess, contradictory to Pat. I would have liked more things to be happening in the blue one, because there wasn't much happening. It was nice life lessons, and I get what Ben was saying. Emotionally, there's a lot more to connect to, and there's a lot of good life lessons and things about appreciating different things in life that were really good in the what you call it, in the blue one. But I wish there was kind of more, whether it be back and forth or kind of link or mystery. Like, let's say, for example, just like how in the red one, there was that moment where he accidentally um parallel shifted, and then he woke up to next to woman with long hair who wasn't Shiro.
Sure.
Yeah, but that was him shifting into when you're talking about when he's in the office and he's like, and he wakes up again. Yeah, that's him shifting into blue.
Yeah, exactly.
No, red.
No,
What
wait, no.
red movie shifted into blue, Alec.
Blue shifted into red.
But yeah, I agree with you, Simon. And I wasn't, I had theories, but it was obviously certain things are confirmed when you watch Blue. It's like, yes, my theory is confirmed that he shifted into the other world where he's Kazune instead of with like in his current predicament. But I would have liked more things happening, more kind of, whether there be mysteries or different things, to make the blue, because it can still be, because it did feel like a lighter film. It could still be that rom-com, but it would have been nice if there were certain things that were happening that made you go, oh, so that thing that happened in, you have a little bit of it. That thing that happened in this film was because of this, but it not much really happens outside certain points, and it's just like, it then makes it feel like you're just watching supplementary film to the other one.
Okay, I get what you. Okay, I get what you're saying now. There's that. I get what you're trying to say, but there's a problem with that as well, because again, we have to say Blue is original movie because that's how they say it in like the wiki, and we'll stick to that story for now. But with Blue being the romantic comedy that it is, especially with him being really fucking stupid sometimes as a guy, and like and it plays on that like anime trope as well, where he tries like asking her out for a date, and like all of the classmates are like crowding around the room, just like, does he suck? Did he fucking fail? Yeah, he failed. Okay, let's get out of it. And we're like, yeah, that's the all that typical like tropey stuff, and like them getting together. If you had, but I get what you're trying to say. They could have more branches of story. But if you have too much of the branching of the story, you can see her, like all like the watch on her watch. Sorry, her parallel shift. Her IP address, which is like the worst way to call it. I don't know why. So something having, yeah, this is my IP address. Anyways, if her IP address would, her numbers would just be jumping around everywhere, because that would mean multiple parallels of her are switching around, and like it'll be very complicated. It would be Rick and Morty then afterwards. It would just need some free portals and everyone jumps to everywhere, then it'll just ruin it. This is like, yeah, but this, you get what I mean though, because this one is like parallel worlds, but it's like switching souls or switching like perspectives, and it keeps it more simple. if it gets too complicated and your world building is too much, is when it becomes too much, then I'm going to go, well, if there's like an alternate version of me, I can just go to that world and nothing matters. Then it's like, you can't really. It's not really how that works. Or the story will be very mute. It'll be like, it doesn't matter. It's like everything's fucked. It doesn't matter. Switch to another world.
Yeah, I don't mean necessarily that in particular. Because in the blue one, we technically have how many? We have one, two. We technically had. We didn't see the fourth one. We had three different Kazunes, and then there was a fourth one, but we never got to see the fourth one because that was a branch parallel one that's remained a 0. We carried on watching 1. So we started watching 0, and then when the mother whose son actually died, like
14.
It was 13.
Oh, it's 13? Oh, okay, damn it. Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
It became 14 because she caused the split. She was there during a split. She took the son out the house to this location. That wasn't meant to happen. So that caused it to split off to another reality. And then when she went back, they were in 1. So the reality we were watching shifted from 0 to 1, and there is another one, but we just never saw from that point. That remained a 0.
Oh yeah, and they pressed the reset button, so it's technically she's not even 1 anymore. She's 0.5.
Which is weird. But
fuck. Oh, that sounds really confusing. But like,
but I don't mean to make it more complicated like that. So they talk about a lot, and I'm not saying it needs to, like, they could have done so many things with it. But for example, when you had the unauthorized optional shift that they recognized, again, obviously in the first movie, there's so much going on, they don't need to be talking about that kind of stuff, because I assume that kind of stuff was happening as well. So they do monitor this, and they're like, if people are coming in when they're not meant to, or I say not meant to, they're coming in, and obviously they're like, okay, let's make sure we like check what this is. That was kind of interesting, that whole thing. And then after that, in a good life lessons, it just went back to how it was, like just a kind of not happy, not too eventful kind of thing happening. And then it got interesting again when you got the letter from the other version. You could have had other things happening that were separate, that weren't related to the red film, but that didn't necessarily need another film or whatever to explain it and go into detail. You could have had other things happening because he is living this different life. They do have these kind of optional shifts coming into their world, which is another side of it that I wouldn't have thought of from the red one, because we're so focused about Shiori and these other two characters. We're not thinking about the kind of other implications and whatnot. So you could have had other things that just built that world up. But instead, they just focused on the kind of nice things that were happening in his life. And it's just like, okay. And I think that was the kind of like, oh, it's a shame more things could have happened. And they could both be their own films in their own, but they affect each other and interact with each other just like they are now. But I would like to come out of the blue one thinking, oh yeah, this is its own complete film as well. But it reacts and kind of goes with the red one. I would like to feel that same way. Like it doesn't necessarily, need to be, oh, this is really mysterious or whatnot, but just more. That's me.
Yeah, it would have just been nice if they felt a little bit more equal, Because I do feel like you could probably watch the red one and not even know about the blue one and be fine. Whereas if you watch the blue one and didn't know about the red one, you're probably going, no, I don't really know what the significance of a lot of that was. I guess.
I mean, I was gonna say there is points in the red movie that reference blue movie a lot. The main biggest point I realize is right near the end as well. This is the one that I can think of off the top of my head. Is the her damn necklace, which when he's lying there in the capsule, he goes, "Oh,
It's
aquamarine."
it's a ring.
Is it a ring as well? Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's like, "Oh, that's an aquamarine ring. I would have chosen that ring." And you hear that, and the context of it, when you first watch the red movie, you go, "All right, yeah, sure." Then you watch blue movie, and you go, "Oh,
Yeah.
fuck, that was his wedding ring. Fuck, oh no!" And it's like there's definitely context for watching red movie, and you watch it and you go, "There's a lot. There's still quite a bit missing here. I'm not quite sure what it is." I guess the point is, with red, if you just watch red, you would still have quite a few unanswered questions, but they won't be as unanswered as if you were to just watch blue. Because if you was to able to just watch red, you'd be like, I think I understand what might happen in this world and how it would happen and affect the world afterwards. But without the context, it's just guesswork. With blue, if you watch just blue, you'd be like, there's a lot missing, but I'm not quite sure why it's missing. But I kind of I feel like they have a happy ending anyways, so it doesn't matter. And like with each one, it becomes, it does need both of them working together to make the whole film the films they are. And I guess I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, because kind of like the point of the film is watch both of them. But like if you don't watch both of them, can be like a standalone film, and it's like not really, and that's like, oh.
I think to add to that though, I'm sure someone could come in as well. Like with the red one, the main question I had after watching it was, did he succeed? What happened? That was the only real question I had, because I felt like the red gave us to like figure everything else out and understand everything else except the scene where he accidentally slips into a world where he's the ghost isn't, kind of like he's not gone somewhere and only seen Shiori as a ghost. Because even those kind of things where it kind of its own questions of, is he only going to where she is, or because it's like it can't be that there's no other girl where she's alive, right? Or like what's going on? But then it answers its own kind of questions. Where whereas the blue one, I think, because unlike the red one, the mechanics of shifting and a lot of things are so integral to the story, you end up, they explain much more, you see much more through kind of what's happening as well through a little exposition. Whereas in the blue one, it's kind of just there and it happens sometimes, but it's not necessarily truly integral to the story. It does affect it and it is integral, but it's not like constantly something that's pressing on it all the way through. And then of course you have that part at the end. But the thing is, in the blue one, I guess the end is explained, unlike in the red one where it's not explained. But in the blue one, just the rest of the mechanics aren't really explained. So I feel like in the red one, you go a shorter time, like wondering what's happened. Whereas in the blue one, I feel like you're wondering more of the time, okay, so what is going on or what's happened and huh?
Hmm.
What do y'all think?
Oh, actually, I think myself and you have talked a lot. I feel I need some opinions from the others.
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
so
Like it's I think I think the thing is like it's that whole thing about like one film talking to another, because I think if they'd have pulled that off, where like you could have felt like you had two complete films, but one changes the experience of the other, and that kind of thing. Like that would have been sort of the thing that would have really like blown me away with this. But yeah, I don't know if the concept was ever like totally realized, and I wonder if part of it is because was it the red one that came out like a month before the other?
Yeah,
I
that was
believe
what came out first.
books came out at the same time. So actually, like novel came out on the same day. I think main cast in June. The one was in August. Wait, in August? A month apart.
Yeah. So I wonder if like part of it was like a marketing decision. So like, because I assume that the ideal from their point of view would have been to release both at the same time. But I wonder if there was something that meant that they couldn't release both at the same time, so the decision was made for the red one to include some stuff that was gonna be left for the blue one or something like that.
And I feel like it would have been complicated anyway because you would need to get moviegoers to watch two movies on the same day, or two movies very close to one another. And even though like cinema tickets can get kind of expensive, if I have to watch both of them at like the same day, it can get kind of complicated. I can imagine.
Because really,
Like,
that would have been like that would have been the thing that sort of made it. I don't know, like not sort of. It wouldn't have necessarily like changed the content of them and things like that. Like I think like mostly it would have been the same. But if they could have pulled off the whole thing of like a simultaneous release and like the whole thing being about go and see them both at the same time or like choose your order kind of thing, like almost like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. If they could have pulled that off, that would have been amazing. But it does feel like sort of it's almost as if you've got to try and view them as like a prequel sequel relationship rather than two films that sort of come together, which is a bit of a shame.
sequel? I mean, I don't know, because if you go about that way, then you have to, or Emmanuel saying which one is considered the first movie and which one is considered the second movie. Well, I feel like it's one is like how to explain it? One movie is exposition, one movie is context. And like I don't know if like without both the story can't progress or it will progress without you understanding. So you need context for the exposition, but you need an exposition for the context. So it just wouldn't make sense. And it's like, I feel like also Rob, this is probably why it's very popular when you went and checked about it, because I feel a lot of people who have watched both of the films are discussing, wait, does this make sense, or which one's better? And that's also a problem as well. It's like,
Well, that's another interesting thing actually, because if you look at places like Letterboxd or IMDb, like it's generally rated quite low, but if you look at Crunchyroll, people fucking love it. Like it's rated like 4.8 on there.
yeah, but like I feel like if it's IMDb, they don't really like animation unless it's Studio Ghibli anyway. So it's like,
But that's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, I mean, IMDb can be a bit of a, I don't know. It can be a bit shit because you get a lot of people on there who've been using it since it first started who are like bigots, essentially. And,
I resent that comment. I've been a member of IMDb for 16 years.
oh, I wouldn't say that
Oh,
too.
fucking really? Wow.
but yeah, no, IMDb can be a bit of a weird place because of those people. Not Pat, but because of the ones who sort of live in states where they still fly the Confederate flag and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, Letterboxd as well. Like you get a sort of like a certain type of person that uses Letterboxd, and I think Letterboxd is probably more reliable for this kind of thing because it tends to be people who are a little bit more it tends to be a younger sort of audience, I suppose, on Letterboxd, and you tend to get people who are a little bit more open to things like this and that kind of thing. But yeah, I find it interesting because I mean, like, the only people that are going to watch it are people who are going to be inclined to go out and find this kind of thing, because I don't think it was really marketed outside of people who like anime, basically. So yeah, it's interesting that it's such a hit on Crunchyroll but nowhere else.
Well, I don't think it's been released really anywhere else outside of Japan, to be honest. Like,
yeah, I don't think we got a theatrical release.
I would not imagine that this would get a theatrical release because it's not the big studio. It's not your Studio Ghibli's or.
To be fair though,
Demon Slayers.
One of the distributors is quite big. I forget what their name is. Who is it?
Toei Animation.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, but it's Toei that's not got English, right? It's Japanese Toei. That's like watching original Dragon Ball, not English Dragon Ball. It's a bit different.
They're the Japanese language Dragon Ball. That was what I was mentioning to you guys earlier about the nation.
That's still quite a big company though. Like, that's not like, they're not like, somebody that isn't going to have any clout or.
Yeah, but it's like it really depends on which Western studios will take the like license rights and production rights and stuff and go, we'll watch it. It's not like Godzilla, right? Where they go, because I think Toei also used to do Godzilla stuff as well.
Oh,
and it's like, oh, we know what Godzilla is. Everyone knows what Godzilla is. So big marketable budget and all that stuff, and that's like that. Because things like, we were discussing last year, where I went, hey, did you guys know that there's going to be a new Miyazaki film coming out this year? And I'm like, oh, really? There's a new Miyazaki film? And now, because it's been out for a while, everyone's like, hey, you watched The Boy and the Heron? No, because no one markets it until like literally it came out, and everyone went, oh, wow, this was a surprise. And this one is like, it came out, but it's not like, it hasn't got the star power or political power to go, yeah, it grabs people. Unfortunately, that's like,
to be fair though, to be fair though, Toei had like I mean, it didn't have like a massive release, but it was released in a lot of mainstream cinemas over here last year. The first Slam Dunk.
Really?
Yeah, that got quite a wide release. Like, it wasn't in every cinema, but I think it was in Cineworld and a couple of other big ones.
I did not even know that they had a Slam Dunk movie, which is the problem, right? I guess that's which is a thing, right? Because because this is a original anime movie, it's not based off a certain person's like previous work. It's not like a fucking it's not like a One Piece or anything, right? It's not like
that's Toei as well, isn't it?
No, well, I mean that's Toei with Shonen Jump, and Shonen Jump is the main magazine that produces every fucking thing. Everything is Shonen Jump nearly. If it's popular, it's probably Shonen Jump. That's if you've watched anime as a young teenager and it's got action and a bit of like etchiness to it, it's Shonen Jump. Your Dragon Ball, Bleachers, your Naruto's, your really successful Fists of the North Stars, fuck, Fist of the North Star made money. It's like it's still like the undisputed goat of making money. That's how much it is. And like all that shit. If you had all of that work, then obviously, yeah, those would have like the money power to say we want it in the West and we want it to be distributed and everyone to watch it. But these two movies, because it's a romantic comedy about, you know, time travel, not time travel, parallel worlds, it doesn't have staying power, unfortunately. And that's it sucks, like, because if we was to like distribute movies even now, I feel like it would be easier to watch an action movie than to watch a romantic comedy. I can't imagine there being such a great romantic comedy movie that it goes worldwide, like appeal. Like, unlike, let's say, an action movie, which is like, I don't know, what's the latest action movie? I thought Argyle is probably the thing that popped in my head first because of what it's like. I saw the adverts for it, but it's like,
or Beekeeper.
Yeah, but like because it's because it's Henry Cavill, and everyone goes, "Oh yeah, he played Superman." And they go, "Oh right, it's easier to translate for everyone else around the world, and it's probably easier to market."
Wait, sorry, I'm confused. Wait, it's rom-coms don't go worldwide? What?
I mean, how many rom-com movies do you know that are like from a foreign film or foreign films that have been really popular here? I can't think of one.
What you?
What was it? What's it called? Come back to me.
I'm not the one to ask, but I can think. Obviously, there's comedy ones, and there's, like you said, there's comedy ones, there's action ones, there's thriller, there's mystery.
Yeah, but like romantic comedies, I mean, like romantic drama, like Camaraderie.
Crazy Rich Asians. That's it.
That's comedy drama, Ben. To be honest, that's what I say. If it's comedy drama, like the Korean movie that but was on movie. What was that one called?
Place to stay, place to go, let go, stay.
Wait, we're talking about proper drama rather than comedy.
Yeah, but I feel that's what I'm saying. That one was a romance, but it's very dramatic.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, but it's not.
It was.
Korean.
Oh, sorry. You go. I'm trying to remember what the name of it as well. I can see the poster in my head.
Come stay with me. Come drive with me. Come something. Come on, baby. I don't know. I don't know.
Drive my car. What?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's say the sequel to Drive My Car, whatever. But like the point is, there was the newest Korean like drama romance movie that was very popular because drama movies definitely do better than romantic comedy movies. But romantic comedy.
Decision to Leave.
Yes. No.
Oh fucking yeah, it might be, yeah.
Is it Decision
to be fair though, that was more the director, I think. Like it was less that the film got big and it was more that everyone was like, oh, we want to see the new film by the guy who made Old Boy.
I'm not thinking about that one. Unless me and Simon are thinking about different ones. There's another one movie.
Yeah, I feel like there's another one as well.
There's another
but
one.
It might be Decision to Leave. But it might not be Decision to Leave.
If I say the story, basically you've got these two people who kind of split ways in their life and then meet later in America.
Oh, Past Lives.
Yeah, that's it.
But that again, though, that the reason that got so big is because it's A24.
Okay.
So that's okay. So I feel like that actually helps emphasize my point. Unless the studio is big, or the director's big, or hell, if the actor's big enough, a romantic comedy movie, especially an animated one, is never going to be a big hit for it to hit a worldwide audience. That's why even if it was Toei, big company, it just didn't hit worldwide audience. And even though that this film was quite interesting, with obviously we know that it's got its janky parts. It's just it didn't hit all the audience. It's the reason why I feel like if you was to go back to Letterboxd and stuff, I mean, wait, do you have people on Letterboxd calling movies woke?
No, to be fair, that's an IMDb thing.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen a lot on Letterboxd for that.
I've never seen
fuck.
that on Letterboxd.
That horror with Batista in, I can't remember the name.
Oh, Knock at
Saw
the Cabin.
last year. Yeah, there's one person that's put a review,
Knock at the
and
Cabin.
I get him. Yeah, and probably the day after we saw it, I'm still getting notifications that that's going, and the amount of times I've seen woke in that one thread.
But
Because of that movie. Really?
Yeah,
But-
I can't imagine what you would call.
my original point was saying that people who watched it were on Crunchyroll, because Crunchyroll is really what the target audience is.
Yeah.
It's very hard for it to expand the target audience with animes and stuff, unless it's considered the cult classic ones, like your Ghost in the Shell and Akira's, whenever you choose that, Rob. And like those ones are very popular because like it's been a while since they came out, and it has a bit of more of a following than when it first came out to now. And I feel like that's the same thing that happens with One Piece. People who when it first came out 15 years ago, yeah, that's about how long it's been. And it's like some people cared, but now it's a bit more accepted in the more mainstream media. That's why it's on Netflix as well. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. It's anime. It's expanding its audience, but it's very, very slow because people who watch anime, who watched it first with like our age group, get like there's certain jokes that are accepted, but we have people who watch anime now, who watch it on Netflix and go, what the fuck is this sexist, misogynistic shit? And it's like, no, it's the joke. She kicks him in the balls afterwards. It's kind of the point of the joke. He says something stupid, he gets kicked in the nuts. It's part of the punchline. Of course it's misogynistic. It's supposed to be, but he gets kicked in the balls afterwards. It's like it's fine. They don't get that, and it's like, and it sucks because it's like it's part of the joke. He says something stupid, he gets kicked in the nuts. Yeah, it's gender equality there. It's perfect, but no, because it's just like everyone's like it's misogynistic and it's sexist, and it's like.
To add to your point about the rom-com thing, I was gonna say the only ones I noticed are big outside are the TV shows. So you have a lot of people who, if you do have people who are into that kind of thing, there's a lot of of that nature that are very popular. But like you said, not movies. So I'm just like agreeing with you. What I would say about what might have helped it be more mainstream. I think if something would it would have helped. There are a few things that probably would have helped. It probably would have helped if it was the kind of quality you might expect from like Weathering with You or Your Name, or like there's certain films that have this really high quality about them, but also I don't know, like it would have had to be made less like an anime and more like a animation film. And I don't know how to explain that. You probably could.
Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ, Pat, what are you eating? It's even more crinkly than what I eat. Okay, that's right. So, okay.
Curly, how did you make a
No,
curly
it's
whirly
not.
punch?
Interesting.
Oh.
Ah, yeah. Crinkly.
Oh man, that's too funny.
Shit, what was I gonna say?
Yeah, just to finish, sorry. I was like, oh, that was funny. But yeah, it felt like when I'm watching like Your Name or Weather with You, it feels like I'm watching some kind of filmic experience that, yeah, filmic experience. Where with this film or these films, it felt like, I'm just chilling, sitting down, watching some anime. It's like it instead of being a mini series, it's put into like 2 movies. Like,
Was this released theatrically in Japan?
Yes, I would imagine so. It probably was. I think I said it before. Like one was in August and one was in like
Yeah.
June. Wait, was it June? Oh man, I can't. I would have to find it out in a second. Music theatrical release. September 14th in Tokyo. Then the rest of Japan later. Blah, 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 blah. It was. Oh yeah, I feel like it was only released by Crunchyroll as the on worldwide stuff. Then it's on home media, which is a bit weird. Okay,
Hmm.
I'll just go to the toilet. Just be back. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, there was.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's you kind of need to go back to like the old days of like double bills and stuff for this kind of thing. So I feel like if this had been sold as a double bill and like it actually was marketed as one and made with a bit more sort of, I don't know. Well, it seems like maybe like communication between the two people who made it. Then maybe it would have been a bit more altogether.
It's quite ironic that this is the one double bill that Alec really likes.
Is it?
Oh,
Yeah,
judging by the scores.
ironic. It's
Yeah.
definitely the best one for him.
surprised by the score. It's like, I'm trying to think, how did he rate Your Name?
Oh,
Oh, you did like that, to be fair.
he liked him more.
So the story scores he's given is 10 for the red one and 9.5 for the blue one. But stick with me here. He gave story score for Shawshank 6.5
Oh.
and Cool Runnings a 6. Planes, Trains and Automobiles a 5. But they were pretty simple to the point stories.
Yeah.
That made a bit of sense. Like, yeah, I get it. Like every film sort of has its problems and stuff, but like this one feels like it was the idea was sort of put together, and I don't think they got too much past the brainstorming phase, and just like, yeah, let's just make it. I mean, I might be harsh here, but that's sort of what I got from it.
Well,
It's an
actually,
adaptation, to be fair, isn't it? Like,
a quick question though, because you guys were mentioning the score, so just a quick look on it. Did you guys all purposely somehow join together to make both films 7.6? Because so I'm looking at it like, wait, was that? Is that?
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, that's okay.
That was
Yeah, sure. I feel like as an anime movie that I haven't watched before, it was the first time I just did this movie. I was like, oh yeah, 7.6 for a film I haven't watched before. That's not too bad. I guess that's actually not too bad of a choice.
I mean, it makes sense just by the fact that they're sort of two sides of the same coin, in a way. So it makes sense that both films come out as a total of 7.6. One being stronger than the other.
Wait, which one did you think was better, red or blue?
Red.
Ah, okay.
Red was much more engaging.
I now need to find the parallel world where we watched blue first and everyone else watched red, and we just go, hey other me, how did you find the movie? Oh yeah, it was actually quite interesting. I kind of prefer watching the blue one first. Oh, okay. So we just need to do that now.
See, I quite liked the relationship between the two main characters in the red one, and then obviously she dies and is stuck in Crosswalk Purgatory.
Yeah.
And it's obviously he's trying to find a way to save her, but then realizes the only way to save her is to forget that she exists.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is all mainly because they didn't want like a Game of Thrones situation on their hands. They're like, they really liked each other, but we're like, I don't want to be your stepbrother. Let's just escape. Let's run away. I was like, okay. It's like, yeah, it's a whole situation there.
You could have just
The
talked
thing,
and it would have been okay.
the thing I liked about the red one is I felt like the story was just, it was more fleshed out. They seemed to know what they wanted to do more. Whereas with the blue one, they're like, oh, here's an idea, and then they've not obviously brainstormed it to see how they could mesh it better together, and that causes a lot of confusion. Like, I was sitting there watching, I was like, how have we got from there to there? Like, they were doing this a minute ago. What are they doing now? Did I fall asleep for a split second? Like, it was something that I was like, I really don't get this. Like, I really wanted to like them because I really loved the animation and the music, like I said earlier, and like the characters in the first film, I thought were quite likable. Like the little romance between the two is quite sweet. But yeah, the blue one sort of was like, I don't want to watch the blue one again.
You know what, pal? I'm surprised. Like, given that the things that you liked about this was the music and the animation, that you didn't like Your Name more.
Your Name, I don't want to sound horrible, but Your Name bored me.
To be fair, I do remember when it ended, and you said that was you said you'd never been so bored in your life.
Soul. you saying that hurt my soul a little bit. I was like, Pat, you just.
The thing is, right?
More like Your Mum, not Your Name.
I mean, no, I'm not going to do that.
One of the managers at work has given me like a big list of animes to watch through, and I know John's got me to watch most of these, and I haven't watched them. Like, I want to watch more anime stuff because I think there's a lot of great stories in there. Like, I don't want to be the guy that's like, I'm an anime fan. What do you watch? Dragon Ball Z. Like,
well, I mean, that's still fair enough. You know, there's some people who are like that.
It's such an English American thing to do, though, isn't it? But I sort of want to open myself up to a lot more of the culture. Like, the only things I watch are your sort of stereotypical ones: Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and then Death Note. Death Note's
Okay.
Death Note's the only one that I watch in Japanese. The rest I watch in English dub.
Yeah, I got really into Death Note for a little while.
I only got into Death Note because of Gary. Because when we were going to Winchester to visit you, I sat there and he's like, Gary, why are you reading this book backwards? He's like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be. So then I was reading along with him, and I was like, oh, it's the like a TV show or something with it. He's like, yeah, there's an anime show, and he gave me a link to it. And I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed the live action films for it as well, even though they're apparently frowned upon.
Yeah, they're not the worst. They're not the worst, but it's not great. But
I haven't watched the English one though, because that's apparently dog shit.
Oh no, the English one is dog shit. Yeah, you don't need to watch that one. But I do love the fact that you said, "Why are you reading that book backwards?" Because John has said the same fucking thing to me before. I'm like, why? No, it's a manga. Oh, it is. Oh, yeah, I've heard of these, and it's like, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, so like this.
Well, don't worry, Pat.
The
I've got like this at least. I've got at least 2 or 3 more animes that are on my list that aren't romantic comedies. They're very far removed from romantic comedies.
well,
So it's like,
Hmm.
you know, the other side, as I asked earlier in the chat, the other side of cringe is edge. So, you know, we're just very
Okay.
edgy films.
well,
Alex is gonna love it.
I've got Dragon Ball in the future.
Original or remake?
Well, we'll get there when I pick it.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough.
Because it's a
Alright.
lot for me to pick from. There's like 16 movies.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
I forgot. There was one point I forgot about. I was just like, it's really random, and it's not as bad because it's part of the story, and it makes sense in the context. But there's the part where in the Red movie, the 2 kids, they don't want to be siblings, have that kind of a way my wife said it was that they don't want to end up feeling like they've become siblings, so now they can no longer be romantic because they've ended up being this nuclear family. They don't want to feel like that before they get the chance to actually kind of marry. And yeah, if they did just talk to the adults, none of this would have happened. And it
Yeah,
did.
but
It. Oh, one moment. I don't mean this in a really bad way. I meant to say when that was happening, it reminded me of Spider-Man No Way Home. The part where Strange goes, did you talk to them? Did you send them a letter or ask them to reconsider? No. Did you talk to any adults about this? No. It's just a random thing, but it made me think about that. This one made much more sense, obviously, but it made me think of that. It's like there's probably a parallel world as well where there could be, who knows, where they did actually decide, you know what, let's just talk to mom and dad kind of thing, and then it was just like, oh, don't worry, we'll hold off getting married anyway. Like you guys can get married anyway; it's not against the law. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
because they're not actually because they're not actually blood related. There's no blood relation between anyway. It's just like you know your steps, right? But that doesn't really mean anything if you had a relationship. It's absolutely not illegal because at that age they were like what they were. I think they were starting high school. I think is what it is, and he was like. I don't know. They were like he was like a couple of years. No, I think they just started high school because of like the uniform change, and it's
Mhm.
like they were still. So that means they were still quite young, and they didn't quite maybe understand the way their relationship was to work, and that's why they decided to. They had a little mini runaway anyway because they were on their bikes and they were like riding their bikes around everywhere and looking at like furniture and stuff, and they're doing like their own little weird, cute romance thing. And it was like, bit sweet, bit sad because of like, you know, the more like mellow point about it. But afterwards, they did what kids do, the running away thing. But their version of running away would have been awkward anyway because they're replacing their body with themselves. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Wait, say that again. They're replacing their bodies with themselves.
Yeah, they're still. I mean, they're running away, but they're still just replacing themselves with themselves because
yeah.
it's just.
Ironically,
Just
I guess they did end up doing that, but they never. It wasn't together. They went to the same parallel world together, but in a way that they would never meet. But Yeah, they were originally trying to run away to another parallel world so they could be together in their alternate bodies, in their parallel bodies with each other. Like you were saying, which is when I saw that in the summary itself, I was just like, this should be interesting. Not that like, obviously they was trying to do that, but then the really sad thing happened. Oh yeah, that was one thing. That was the only probably one of the only problems I had with the Red film. It didn't make, and I'm probably applying too much realism to it, or real life kind of thing to it. But it didn't make sense how she got run over at the speed she got run over. Now, I'll probably ask the question, so bear with me for a moment. Am I right in remembering, was the truck turning before it hit her?
I think it.
I don't
Uh,
remember
I
that, but
think it was. As far as I remember, there was like this slow mo shot of her reacting to something, and then you saw the car just go lunge one side to the
it
other,
was.
and then
I,
she.
I think because it was a truck, but it. I think he pressed his brake, but it was raining, so it slid anyway. And the size of the truck probably was the more important part than the speed of the truck, because if
But
something that big hit you because it was sliding along because of the rain, it would have been.
but that's not the problem I have. But not exactly. Well, I'll explain in a minute. So, I'll explain now. So actually I can turn my camera. So in Tokyo, especially at a four-way intersection, one, how were they able? Usually, most drivers in Tokyo, anyway, if you've actually seen anyone driving in Tokyo, one, especially at around an intersection or whatnot like that, they're so much slower,
Okay.
so much slower. Also, it would have made more sense if it was maybe in a straight line. And if I was like maybe forgetting that, I was like maybe I misremembered that. So if it was turning, it would have been even slower because they would have had to they would have had to come from a pretty slow speed, even if it was a green light and they didn't have to like stop. They would have slowed down to make the turn. I was thinking, how was there someone in like the middle of Tokyo driving that fast around like turning on an intersection that it feels like it wouldn't have happened quite like that. Like I feel like she would have been hit, but it wouldn't have been as fast and hard as it was. It might have been more like a tap.
It would have been. You know what was the manual? It
But
was an American driver. He was on
Well,
holiday. And he
shit.
just happened to rent a
I
car.
was gonna make the joke that it's like an alternate universe where the speed limit is a bit different. But damn,
What actually happened is she stepped out onto the roads in the middle of the Tokyo Drift set,
Oh yeah.
and Vin
Oh,
Diesel knocked her down.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Family.
oh
Yes,
man.
family. I don't care about your family, but mine.
Oh man. But yeah, it was like after, because when it first happened, I was like, oh no, that's so sad. And then I started thinking about it, and I was just like, wait a minute. Why was a big van like that going so fast in the middle of, that doesn't make no sense. They don't drive like that. I'm just,
Maybe
like,
in that universe they did drive like that. Maybe that's. I mean,
yeah.
that's the only thing you can say, to be honest.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my only thing about it. It felt a bit like, but yeah.
I mean, like if that's like, I feel like that in itself being a plot point is not much of like. It's like a small gripe because you and I have been there and you're like, we get it, because it's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But like if it's like an alternate universe version of Tokyo, it might make sense.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a different speed limit. Maybe instead of being 30 miles per hour, it's 35 miles per hour.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred it if it was a case where, um, I don't know, like it, there was less, I don't know. I think I would have preferred it if it was something more like she was going to the parents, and she's so happy, and she almost gets to them, but maybe she slips backwards back into the road or whatever. Something, a situation where the driver, if for the driver, it would have seemed like she came out of nowhere, but she didn't come out of nowhere. She was standing in the middle of the freaking road for who knows how long, because she was shocked, of course. I'm not blaming her. And she was so, because especially one thing the Red film showed well is that every time they switched, they were in this dreamlike, fuzzy, hazy state when they first switched to the shifted. So it's like they forgot what was going on. They forgot that, yes, I just shifted. They were still in the kind of like, wait, why are you here? What's going on kind of thing until some moments pass. So that was one thing I really liked about how the Red film did show that. But like, yeah, she's in shock, but it also doesn't make sense that this driver would have seen her from a way off and just been like, why is there just some random person standing in the middle of the road? It feels a little bit unrealistic that she would have got hit. But I think it still should have happened. I just wish they did it in I guess, a little more of a realistic way, or it was more of a kind of unfortunate kind of like she slipped, fell back into the road when she was holding her parents' hand, and it was all so great, but then she slipped
Ah,
and then
so
got hit by a passing car because she came out of nowhere.
so I think I get the. I think you're saying the goal being the same was fine. It could have
Yeah.
been executed a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, dying on a very safe road is kind of like Tokyo Road Street. I mean, there's context on it, I guess, but I mean, it's better than crazy guy at amusement park. I feel that particular scene was a bit jar. That
Oh,
that
yeah.
particular scene in the Blue movie was a bit odd for me. I was like, oh, it's just a crazy guy at theme park.
That was so random.
Yeah, I feel like, all right, like not to say that it can't happen. It's just unexpected for it to happen, especially in the futuristic world where there could be fucking flying drone like dinosaurs that are just around, and you can. I feel like the police would have been there faster. You know, I don't know. I feel like a bit. I feel like in that world, especially because it's futuristic, it could have been preventable, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. What I would have said, because things like that can still happen. It would have been nicer if they had a lead up to it. It's like Patrick and other people were saying, the story was kind of jank. Like because there was a part afterwards where they explained how, um, oh yeah, sometimes we get these optional shift, and we have to really look out for them because we don't know, sometimes it could be someone who murder someone and then go back to their kind of um their reality. So we're trying to be careful of this. That could have been a whole thing. That could have been some interesting thing where he said that you had that little exposition, kind of those things happening, they're investigating things, and then they decide, you know what, let's take a break from the stuff we've been doing or cases or whatever investigating we've been doing. Let's go to this place. And then suddenly someone shifts into this guy's body, and he suddenly starts acting like a madman. He gets a knife from somewhere and just starts killing all sorts of people. And that could have been its own interesting thing in its own right. But they didn't do any of that. They just randomly, oh, we want a little sadness. Okay. And it's like, you had something potential. I'm just shove it in.
Mm.
That could have been cool to me. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
I
yeah,
gotta
I get
say-
it as well.
Just one thing. It was really weird you calling me by my full name. Because I'm used to most of you call me Pat.
Oh.
As soon as you said Patrick, I was like, what? I was like, am I in trouble?
That reminds me of that time we were at a barbecue at my mum's, and Emmanuel was on the phone, and he was like, "I'm here with Rob, Ben, Pat, and Daniel Humphrey."
No, that wasn't at the barbecue. That was at the Comic Con place.
It wasn't. It was at mine.
Oh no,
Well, then
wasn't
that's happened twice then.
yeah, it's the XL outside MCM Comic Con, like 2008, I think.
Yeah, it was just before we went to download.
No, it was definitely. Well, it must have happened twice then, because it happened in my garden as well.
Oh, weird.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame Emmanuel.
I
It
think
was, a shift.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it's just a parallel shift. It's like, you know, where you just sometimes you forget. Did I leave my car keys on my nightstand on my bed? I can't remember. It's a small parallel shift. It's just like you're switched into a different world.
I to say about that, it probably happened because usually when I'm speaking on the phone and if I was to say just straight Daniel, I should have said just Humphrey, but because I wasn't in a what do you call it, a habit of calling him by his last name, every time I say Daniel, the person at the end of the phone would think I'm talking about my little brother and would be confused.
Oh,
Like,
that makes
yeah.
so much sense.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
There was
100%,
always
yeah.
another Daniel.
yeah, they would think I meant someone else and just his name slipped out my mouth on accident. So then I would forget, be like Daniel. I would say Daniel Humphrey. Instead to say the full name. That's probably
Yeah, actually, no, yeah, but yeah, your parallel, what is it? It's not even, what did they call it? They don't even call it parallel shifting. They call it. Say again?
Oh, I just said I was just I said I don't know, parallel shifting, parallel reality.
I mean, like, in any case, it's kind of like
Tokyo drifting. That's what it is.
Yeah, I was thinking, is it like identity diffusion shifting? I can't even remember. I feel it might be parallel shifting. I don't know, but it just sounds weird. Because it sounds like you're using a special ability from like a Power Ranger show. You'll be like, yeah, we gotta go parallel shift. And it's like a fucking like Sentai thing, and I was like, oh yeah. That's how that is. I just watching him and watching like how the story unfold is great because this film is my notes. Oh, actually, there's one thing about the Blue movie that I did get slightly confused on. Did what's her name? I remember I saved it here. Kazune, the girl with the glasses, did she know about actually shifting? Because she played a prank on him to say, actually, I was your girlfriend in the 85th like parallel universe. And there's like, actually, no, that was just a sticker on my watch, and I was just joking about it. But I was thinking, did you know about parallel shifting, or did you like where did you know? Where did this knowledge come from? And like, I feel like, is it weird to say? I felt like there was like a hidden motive behind her saying it, and I feel like there was like I thought there was could be a slightly another thing where it's actually not only did Kiyomi go back in time, Kazune went back in time just slightly to relive her life with Kiyomi again. And there's like, oh, maybe.
I think what happened, because I was thinking about that as well. I think what happened is that let's call her purple hair girl. Well,
Just the glasses girl. It's easy.
but Kazune, whatever. So Kazune, purple hair. I think someone optional shifted with her. Like one of her alternates did like shift with her before that whole interaction, and she then met a different Koyomi who she was actually with, and who did like save her from some wild dog and some other thing, who was quite different from the one she knows who beat her in this kind of in the scoring test or whatnot, and didn't take the speech. I think that did happen to her, and then afterwards she idea to play a joke on him to get back, to pretend that she was this other one she did swap with, because there's a moment afterwards, like in the future, long time in the future, she quotes one of the lines she said in the past, but the way it all was set up, it felt like she did swap with someone, but it was a different one. It's not a Koyomi that we know. And yeah, while she did play that joke, and maybe what we witnessed was also not the Kazune from another world, like I think she did swap with someone at one point, and that's how she maybe got the idea to do what she was doing.
Okay, but that makes it even more confusing now. I feel like I feel like there could almost be a prequel to this, where they see Purple Hair Girl Kiyomi goes, "Yeah, you're the boy that saved me from the dog," and I'm like, wait, because like I think that's again a story that happened to her in like when she's revealing, and I'm like, wait, are you talking about like from the beginning of the movie in like the Red movie where he's chasing after the dog in like the beginning near the riverbank? I was thinking, is that the story? Because like that's his dog anyway. But
the girl wasn't Kazune. That was a different girl, random girl who never appears again.
I think it was Kazune because she's got a slight purple tinge with a ponytail.
But she had very different clothes style. And
but she was also a kid, Emmanuel. So like clothes styles change, to be honest. But the iconic purple-haired ponytail glasses don't.
But if that was her, remember that in the Red movie, she has a different hair color, and often she has different hairstyles. They're similar, but they're different.
Oh wait, maybe.
So but saying that, you're right. It could have been her, but where did she get the idea from being boyfriend girlfriend? Did she really just think that out of thin air? It's an interesting, just random kind of. It's not really clear, and it's left to your own kind of imagination, which I don't mind. It could be either way.
But
I think she did. The thing is, like in the Blue movie, she says, "Oh yeah, like one of my dad is like a researcher there." That we never found that out in the Red one. We also never see who's her dad in either world, in either movie, unless I missed something. Like, does someone know who her dad is?
I think we might have like skimmed over him when it was the wedding scene, and we could have seen where he was sitting, and we probably saw him for like a split second. But apart from that, I don't think it's very well established. No.
Yeah, we don't see him at work.
That's true.
So it's just like, I was just like, because at first when she started talking all this parallel stuff, and I was just like, wait, how do you know? Because I was thinking at first, like, wait, she has a watch. How does she have a watch? Like a prototype watch. And then she started talking, how do you know this? And it's like, oh yeah, my dad works there. my dad works there too. And I was like, wait, he does? Wait, why did this never come up in the Red movie? All we heard was, I studied so hard. I got a PhD so I could get here, and I interviewed with the director. She never mentioned anything about having any family who already worked there. She got there off her own back, unless in in the Red one, her dad never actually worked there. Unlike in the Blue movie where her dad did, maybe her dad made a choice, and in the parallel in the Red one, he never worked there. I don't know.
This is very complicated. And the more I think about it, the more tired I get. I'm like, maybe is it that guy that we saw beforehand that told him not to sleep so late? It could be, but like,
Oh no, that guy was actually. Was he? I don't know. Whatever.
it could, yeah, it could be. It could be. The answers, the possibilities are endless, and it's just a bit complicated if we keep thinking about it. And oh man, it's. I don't know. And I also feel like I've spoken a lot about this movie. I just need. Well, you guys. Well, I mean, well, Alex is asleep, but it's like, how about Ben and yourself, Pat? What sort of like opinions do you have about the stories, or if you have any hiccups with the stories?
Or favorite scenes as well.
Oh yeah, we could do favorite scenes.
Hiccups with stories. I think I sort of covered that really with how it was structured. I think if the Blue film had the similar structure to the Red one, I think it probably would have worked better. And I think I probably would have enjoyed the overall experience more. Like the characters were in place, everything else was in place. It was more the writing. The writing didn't seem quite complete.
Yeah, that's fair. I would counterpoint that by saying it was overwritten in certain places. And it might be a weird thing to say, but I feel like how complicated and intricate the mechanics of the story was bogged it down a bit in both films.
Well, that's the thing where I don't think they've properly brainstormed the story well enough. Like they've overwritten certain things, but if they've gone through and brainstormed the whole thing, they could have like been like, right, this bit is a bit too much. Let's cut this bit, put it in like that, and then we can just build the rest of the story around that, rather than just like boom, 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 cut, kind of thing.
Yeah, they could have definitely taken a note from like Miyazaki's book and had a lot of space in there, let things breathe, and do things in a certain way. So everything's intentional. You have subtle things in it as well, but you get time to what you just kind of taken in, and it's also presented in a way that's not so, oh, here's a ton of information or here's a ton of stuff that's just happening. You know, and we're not going to explain it or answer it, or maybe they do, but yeah, they could have done it in a different way.
Yeah, I think one of my main criticisms, well, I wouldn't say it's a criticism, it's just like maybe it's one of those things I do need to rewatch both films over again to kind of like get my head around it. It's just like the mechanics of the story of how he manages to go back so he can live his life again without what's her name? It would help if I know their names.
Shiori.
Ghost Girl, yeah, Shiori.
Yeah, Shiori.
Yeah, how he managed to contrive that.
Yeah.
That was something I still can't figure out. How he can sort of like go back in time to relive his life again. Because that was one thing, that was one like element of the story I felt wasn't necessary. It's like you have these multiple worlds, you have these parallel universes, multiverse, basically. That alone is good enough to like hold the story together. But you're adding this time travel element in it as well, which kind of like messed me up a bit, especially when I saw the blue one first, because I was like, wait, now they're adding time travel? What's going on? I can't quite, it's a bit an extra layer of complexity to it. And obviously it would make sense watching it again and at least 3 times to figure out how these things all kind of coalesce and make sense as a one whole, a piece of the whole kind of thing. But watching it for the first time, it's a lot to kind of fathom and to kind of get your head around, because it's just multiverse and time travel. That's like next level Christopher Nolan. That's Christopher Nolan on crack, basically.
What they, if I can try to explain it,
Mhm.
because they did it, and it does help that I would rewind bits, of course, until I got it. And I was just like, that makes sense. So if I explain it in this way, and you watched Loki, season
I've seen both. Me and Pat have seen all of
Yeah.
them.
2. So you know how there's a part in Loki season 2 where OB's just like, we need to lock onto your signature so we can grab you, otherwise you're lost to time.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they explain it very badly. One of the things they're trying to figure out how to do, or Koyomi is anyway, throughout a lot of the Red movie, is how to lock on to these imaginary fragments, these imaginary things. How do we lock onto that so we could even try to save her and pull her somewhere else?
Right. Her time signature, you might say.
So they figure out how to do that, but they only figure out how to do that after her body died. And so it was basically pointless them knowing how to do that until he was being with Kazune, like, go back in time. And then that part with the Guinness product. Great. I just like, you got the Nike shoes, you got the Guinness. Oh, yeah. And it matters. Yeah. Point it in the cup. I agree. I don't care about Guinness, but I think that is true. I swear that's a thing that like people will say in different parts of the world. It's like, oh, it doesn't matter about the cash. Like, no, because I've heard that. I swear at a bar, like
Yeah.
working, well, like, oh, it
All
doesn't.
beer's better in a glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
What I'll say is you pour it into the glass, throw the can away, and then empty the glass in the sink.
Oh man, oh, that's rude. Don't forget to put blackcurrant in it. Anyway, sorry, random.
It's ruining blackcurrant.
Huh?
It's ruining blackcurrant.
But yeah, so with the time travel, when he saw those Guinness bubbles, because obviously they in that thing, they more talked about the whole kind of bubble analogy, about how their kind of their kind of way of understanding advancing through time. They're this bubble that has this buoyancy, and it just keeps floating upwards in this kind of vast ocean. And he realized when she was saying, oh, the viscosity of the Guinness makes it so that some of the bubbles actually flow downwards because they basically, they're not buoyant enough. So technically they weigh more in this fluid, so they end up sinking to the bottom. And then he thought, wait, if we are bubbles, what if I can make myself weigh more and sink back in time? So instead of flowing forwards in time, like Einstein and many people say, we're always going forwards in time. What if I can make myself sink back into time and make my kind of like temporal, instead of temporal aura, my temporal mass, make my temporal mass heavier than like usual time itself, so I sink backwards through time.
Right. So his consciousness sinks backwards in time to the point where they had the first time shift thing.
Exactly. And so yeah, so in the end, obviously when he's really old and he knows that this is gonna kill his his world's body, or his world's, it's gonna split him off, whatever, from his world's body. So yeah, they know how to lock onto her. So they lock onto her, and then that's what that kind of credit sequence at the end of Red is about. He locks onto her, grabs her, and in some artistic, obviously, representation, they sink back into time
Mm-hmm.
and end up in the original worlds, the blue worlds bodies with no memory, which is crazy in and of itself.
And then relive it all right from the beginning.
Yeah. Don't
Mm.
which is, it's something, because surely that would also cause another split.
Yeah. Because it's like the parallel roles going just like that, basically. It's the extra layer to every multiverse. There's another multiverse split from that now.
Actually, that's a thing that was popping up in my head. Like, Ali quite liked this, but hated Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't like Marvel in all seriousness. So that's like, if
Yeah.
this was called To Me, the one who loved you by Loki, then afterwards you would fucking despise it.
You would have gone red when you picked it.
Yeah. If this was called Marvel Studios To Every You I've Loved Before, he would have fucking despised this movie. But that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. But like, I feel like he doesn't. I feel like he doesn't like it because it's Marvel. He doesn't mind time travel or multiple universe stories. I feel like most of us don't mind time travel or multiple universe stories, but they have to have some coherency to them.
Yeah.
Where this one is coherent because it's like, it splits. It doesn't go too crazy with each split.
Yeah.
Even though there's like a certain level of parallels between it, which is the reason why his end words were like the title of the movie. It's like, I would like to thank every Kiyomi that loved Kazune, because because they're all me. And to all the other Kiyomis that didn't love Kiyomi, that's fine as well, because you gave me more chances to love Kazune. And that's like, oh yeah, it makes sense, because even if there's like another version of me out there, I'm pretty sure the other version of me loves the other versions of me's wife. And that's like, yeah, that's fine. Even if there's like so many split versions of me, they all still love you. And that's like, oh, that's fine as well, I guess.
Mm.
Because like, it's the reason why World 13's Kazune was actually even able to jump into that World Zero's version anyway, because her Kiyomi was the one who had to put her in the capsule, start the fucking capsule up for her to jump anyway. So that's like, oh, makes sense.
I wonder, I wonder what world number they are now in the Blue movie at the end, because when she wakes up and reads the letter, and my wife was just like, that kind of sucks. Like she wakes up to this letter, and it's just like, yeah, I just replaced your husband, so yeah, he's my Koyomi, but he has no memory, so you shouldn't notice anything different. But like, yeah, he's technically not the one that you've known and married and been with all this time, but kind of maybe, like, I don't know. Like,
Oh yeah, that is true. Right? Yeah, because he does afterwards say, "Oh yeah, thank you," and he's like, "Yeah, thanks, Kazune, for everything that you've ever done before." And she's like, "Yeah, tell that to your Kazune, don't tell it to me." I was like, "Oh yeah, fuck, it is the other. Yeah, it's not even her husband, or it is her husband, but it's not really her husband. It's her husband from another world." Fuck, this is confusing sometimes. Damn it.
and it kind of makes it even more kind of like, because you know that, yes, this is the Koyomi from the Red movie, because he has some sense of, oh, I just felt happy that she was happy. Like, had no real reason. And he kind of, uh, he kind of gave a reason that, you know, I think I was happy that she was happy because I've got happiness. But the way he said it was as if that was something he missed in his other life, but he wasn't really aware of like that he lived another life or anything. He wasn't thinking in that way. So it's like you have vestiges of their memories that kind of his memories that affected. One thing I would like to ask is, what do you think about Shiori like helping him at the end? Like the whole kind of, because at first I didn't think she was Shiori. It's like she's colored her hair and cut it. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
but she
do that
says
with,
she says her bucket list line.
yes,
Oh, I'm no one special. I'm just a person who helps a stranger. I'm like, oh yeah, I just wanted to say it's on my bucket list. I was like, that is what you said before, didn't it? Fuck.
I was just like, wait, okay, so she's done this, but the thing is, she said she wanted to say that to him, but she couldn't because
No. She didn't say that. She wanted to say it to him. She wanted to say that to any random old man or any random stranger.
yeah, that was it. And yeah, it was more that she couldn't say it to him when he's like, oh, just say it to me. It's like, it doesn't count. But it's just like, oh, but then she's like, I don't recognize you or your last name. And I was just like, oh, wait, I forgot her memory would be wiped as well. But she also has vestiges that are affecting her.
Remember, because they shifted together, there's like remnants of his memory and her memory, like kind of like connected, because
Mm,
it was explained in the movie as well. Because
yeah,
he goes into a parallel universe searching for one where she's not dead, but they still have conversations, and essentially he goes, oh yeah, there was like the pigeon over there who's sitting on the statue. And afterwards, oh yeah. Afterwards, goes to another parallel universe where they shouldn't have ever had that conversation. And it's like, oh yeah, like the same. Oh yeah, I think Mr. Pigeon is still waiting on the statue. I was like, oh,
yeah,
why do you know this in universe something, but I'm in universe other universe?
yeah, because they
So
kept.
how is it that you remember this? Because essentially their souls, or I don't want to be overly weird, but like their
Their conscious
parallel shifts are in like connected together because they parallel shifted in the same machine, I guess.
entangled, as they said it. So
So
yeah,
again,
they as they said it, they're entangled.
yeah, they're entangled, and it's because their parallel shifts are entangled with each other. It became like, oh, that's the reason. That's the reason why he had to go back in time to the point where he never ever met her. That's why he had to choose going with his mum this time, not with his dad, because the only reason that he met her is because the institute had a children's facility for
Yeah,
them to take care of their kids, even though taking care of their kids just is leaving them in a room to draw on the walls all fucking day. And it's like, yeah, boy, just draw on the walls, yeah.
it's pretty safe.
It's just like,
Better than when I was at the cinema and people like, oh, can I just like leave my kid here to like watch a film by themselves? One, you want to put them in some older whatever random film? No, this is not a crash. Go to one somewhere else. This is not the place. We ain't looking after your kid.
It's just
The amount. I'm like,
yeah, people are crazy.
They are that.
yeah. I'm trying to think of a favorite scene. Sorry.
So do we choose two favorite scenes because it's two movies, or do you just choose the one?
You can choose as many as you want, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your movies, Simon. Your film. Worst scene? That's up to you.
I'm actually trying to think now myself because it's all integral to each other. Let's start with Red movie first. I feel like, especially with animation, and I think as Rob said beforehand last time, nothing is done by accident. Everything is done on purpose. So, favorite scene for Red movie is where he's talking with Kazune, like on the side of the road underneath the train tracks, and he's explaining his version of the story on what his intent is. And there's a shot that lingers like for 2 seconds on literally the tracks that one has a block and the other one has the it continues down the road, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if this was a movie and that shot lingered, you'd be like, yeah. But because it's animated, someone had to animate that scene and leave it animated like that for a couple more seconds. Then after it goes back to the conversation, and it's like, right, it's a very purposeful thing. And I feel like, yeah, it's like a thing that is respectful because it takes time and effort and production to make it like linger there for another 3 seconds. The favorite scene for Blue movie is when Kasane first meets or goes with him to the karaoke box. And they're having the conversation about him being her boyfriend, but in another world. But the thing is, the shot starts one side. You see a mirror, then it's the opposite side of the room from the opposite direction. And it's just literally flipped. And it's like, oh, that's an interesting way to see that. And it's like it's a very purposeful thing to do. Again, even if it was like even if it was like a live action movie, that singular shot of going from one side of the room to the other side of the room took effort. And it's like, oh, it's interesting to see it be shot like that because it's obviously talking about this is me and this is you, but we're talking about the other me and other you. And it's like from the other side, and it's like, oh, he's literally seeing it from the other side, a different perspective. That's amazing. That's that. I feel like that's like in filming wise or like shooting wise, that would be probably a very cool shot to see. That's probably my two favorite scenes. Not just like the character concept of it and like all the interactions, but like the all the like what's the word I'm trying to for the all the symbolism. That's it. All the symbolism and how it all connects together is probably quite a nice thing to see.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
In the Blue film, I think the interaction in the end. I keep forgetting the name of the characters. That basically the two that were together in the beginning, the red one, when they meet in the blue one, when they don't really know each other. I thought that was actually quite neat. Especially when he says he took like great joy out of someone else having a good day or a good life. I thought that was a nice little scene there. The red one, oh man, this seems so long ago now. I'm not too sure. probably the meeting on the intersection when she's a ghost, and he makes a promise to see her at a certain date in 66 years time.
Mm.
I felt you got a great deal out of their relationship from that. I thought that was a pretty cool scene, but I don't think really nothing else really stands out for me.
Oh yeah, you reminded me, Pat. How it I wondered, how did she get to that intersection?
How did she?
Yeah, at the specific time, that all these years later, like he had a reminder that so I'm thinking, how did she also end up there at that specific time and place? Or was it, because it couldn't have been just coincidence.
I reckon it. I mean, if you believe in this sort of destiny sort of stuff, and they know that they're destined to meet again as different people at this same spot, he's got the reminder. It just pops into her head, and they sort of just meet each other at that very point. I mean, you could call it coincidence. Or she was there to laugh at the old man not being able to reach his medicine, and then.
Well, I mean, like,
I
feel like that they were also in a pocket universe because they had a thing on his watch and says, "Huh, it's an error code. Am I even in universe 0 or am I in universe -0?"
I think the essence of their story is they'll be forever entwined. Whether they're sort of know each other or not, they'll always be linked.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one element of the story that I really liked.
Yeah. Also, just to add to that, even though the blue on the wiki, Simon, you were saying the blue one says it's the kind of original world, and the red one's the parallel world. From their perspectives, they're both their own original worlds, and everyone else is a parallel world because they're all zeros. And then these other worlds are just a different step away from them.
But like that's complicated to think about because if they're all zeros or they're all original worlds, then can't think about it because they're just confusing. It's like, but I'm the original in my world. Yeah, but your world is not original for us. So it's like,
But no, I get like it's not like both are true. That's the thing. That's what makes it kind of funny and confusing. Like the blue one is the original, or as far as they are concerned, is the original bubble. And is a bubble split off from this bubble. But because every other bubble is measuring the parallel realities from their own stance, they're all zero from where they're looking, and everywhere else is a different amount of steps away from them, because that's how they're measuring it. Like they're just measuring, okay, are you 1 to me, or are you 60 to me, or are you 85 to me? But someone who's 85 to them could be 60 to another parallel reality.
No, because I'm trying to read my notes. I'm trying to think, I guess that's...
It was just a random thing I was just thinking about. But anyway, sorry. I like thinking about those random kind of theoretical stuff. In terms of favorite things and moments, so one of my favorite scenes in both of the films, um, probably, yeah, my main favorite scene is when the young Koyomi from the Blue film gets to another chance to be with his grandfather.
Oh right, yeah.
And they show it in both movies, but in the Blue movies, there's a bit more. You get to say him say, "I love you too, Granddad." Unlike the Red one, where you don't see him say that, you see him kind of like take in like what is happening, and he's a smart kid. He gets it straight away what's going on. Like without it, which is quite funny. Like without like any real warning, he realizes where he is and what's happening. With the other kid, with the Red movie kid, who purposely moved, he didn't really believe it was going to happen. So it takes him a while to kind of, I think, to kind of accept it is actually happening. Uh, even though he's happening, it's just an interesting like difference between the two. Like the blue world one is just like, okay, yeah, this is happening. I'm just like he's quick to catch on. But anyway, I do like that film. Was really touching how he from a young age with this kind of tragedy, he realizes the importance of appreciating things and kind of how you kind of treat people and think about people and judge where they're coming from because you might not know everything. And I thought that was a great lesson for him to learn like that young, where because the Red one he gets a different lesson out of it. He gets or I said he gets something different out of it. He's like grappling with the concepts of life and death and what does it really mean to be alive or dead, especially in the context of parallel worlds existing. And then Shiroi, I forgot how to say her name. What's her name?
Shuri.
Shori. I wonder if her name has the character for white in it because her name is that it's not too far away from what white sounds like in Japanese, but I might be wrong because she's in a lot of white. But anyway, but yeah, that whole thing was kind of cool, and they both get something different out of it, which is interesting. Um, I do like the the same scene he was talking about Pat as well. I thought that was really cool. Like just all of it, like you said. Um, Another moment I kind of liked in the different films and how they did them differently. In both films, you had a moment where Koyomi was saying, "I've heard like uh this is a great spot at night to like see the city kind of thing." But in the blue one, he's like, "Oh, I think I got the wrong time because it doesn't actually look all that great." Where in the red one, they not only are like, "Yeah, that this should be a great spot." They come back to it later and it's like, "You were right. This spot is great." I think, or something like that. I can't remember. I might be things up, but they have.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what scene you're talking about. You're talking about with the rock, and it's like, yeah, you can see the factories right at the end of the on the thing. Oh right, yeah. It's the scene. Technically speaking, it's the scene that his son draws on the fucking crayon with the crayons. Technically,
I mean, technically, from a far off distance, maybe that one's a weird one because that one, what I would say, like in the Red movie, you have the factories in the distance, but those cranes and stuff that lights up, I don't think they're the same factories. They could technically be. Um, I I don't think they are, but they could technically be. But I think that was mainly the main reason they had that was to set up something they didn't do properly. You know how the lady from 13, the mom from 13, Kazune from 13, was like to him, "Oh, so you knew what it was, you just didn't tell me." And he was just like, he reacted instantly, like, I didn't when he first drew it, but like this morning I figured it out, and then he realizes, wait, this isn't my Kazune. We wouldn't be having this conversation and not like this. I think that was meant to set that up in some weird way or set something up there, but it didn't feel properly fleshed out. But you probably are right. It probably was the factories just much closer up, like one of the factories much closer up compared to being much further away.
I also remember, well, that Blue Movie's version of their world is very, very well developed, like in futuristic. So it's like, oh, the old factories are still there in the background, even though we've got crazy skyscrapers with automatic, wheelchairs, all that stuff. It's like, yeah, you still got the old factories right in the background. It's like, oh, right, that's what you meant. At least that's how I see it. Maybe I'm looking at it different. I guess no. Go on.
And there's other little moments where the overall, I guess I do wish the kind of animation quality was better, but they did have little small things in there that was just nice to have in there. Like there's moments where you see other people reacting to Koyomi, whether it was when he's like just talking to thin air, or when he was an old man going in his wheelchair, getting back on the pavement, and people looking like, is he okay? Like, why was he just chilling in the middle of the road? Like, is he all right? That kind of stuff is cool. It was cool when because my wife had mentioned this as well, but like when they mentioned, oh yeah, it's normal now for them to teach it in schools, and they were just having kind of regular I've been teaching it in primary schools now, basically, elementary schools. It's like, oh yeah, Thingy was telling me about it the other day. They learned it in school. And it's just like, oh, that's just kind of like nice little things about the world and how it's moving forward and how it's changing. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's, yeah. But sorry, there's quite a few things I liked. I liked how, like you said, I think you mentioned, Simon, about the karaoke, but how that same karaoke booth type scene happened in both worlds, but in different ways. One when they were kids and one when they were adults.
Okay.
But the one
Yeah.
when they're adults, that one made me laugh, I have to say. I forgot about it, but I did really like that scene because she's just like, and I'm getting back at you for beating me and always beating me, and all these tests were so long ago. And he's just like, lady, I don't even remember you. Like, what? I have to beat you at everything. You, I you go ahead, beat me. I don't care. I'm not doing this for academic success. Trying to save someone's life. I don't understand why after all these years you're coming at me and just be like, yeah, I need to get back at you. Like, what? Are you okay? Are you actually like it made sense when they were kids and had that scene, but as adults, it's just like maybe you need some help. Like I don't think hold on to some random grudge when I've never talked to you ever. Like for the rest of your life, like you need to move on. Oh man. That did make me laugh though. But yeah, I think those are my favorite scenes. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, it's lots of nice little moments. I guess so. Alex is asleep. Bob is doing something. I
I
was
mean,
ready to just
we just be like, Rob, you there, Rob? Oh, okay.
you alive, man. You're breathing.
I mean, no.
Not anymore.
Yes,
No. Oh no!
I mean-
The line is, "You dead, man."
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Have we all said our favorite scenes?
I haven't said mine, but I think I echo what Pat said. I think, well, at least one of them in the Blue film, at least one of my favorite moments was the scene of the old man. What was his name? This something. You know who I mean? The main character that we've been talking about the whole time.
Oh, Mr. Kiyomi. Kiyomi's the
Kiyomi,
old
yeah.
guy. Oh, the guy. Yeah.
Yes, and he's like 66 and he's in his wheelchair, which is pretty cool actually. If you remember seeing it, had like these sort of like the tracks.
Super automatic wheelchair. I was like, oh, it's a super futuristic.
Yeah, he could go down the steps pretty smoothly. I thought that was pretty cool. And he borrows his wife's hat. What's her bloody name? And the two of, and he goes to the meeting point, and he meets that woman, and he just has that little bonding moment where he drops his medicine. So that really was really quite one of my most favorite moments, just because of how personal it was. And obviously, it all comes full circle in the Red film, or obviously vice versa, right at the end. And the post-credit scene, which was quite important, actually, if you guys saw that in the Red film.
Oh yeah, the falling in the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After that.
Wait, after that, isn't it just pretty much the same as the beginning of the Blue film, right?
I mean, it kind of is, I suppose. Maybe it was. Maybe my memory's a bit hazy, but yeah, it's after that sequence. But yeah, that all that stuff is the most intriguing for me. And even some of the stuff where he's just a kid and he has the first experience of time shifting, or whatever it was called, and he realizes about the whole the dog in one life is alive and his grandfather is alive in the next, and the whole moment, the whole scene where he realizes about the gun and the present his grandfather gives him is like happy 10th birthday or whatever it was or something, and yeah, all those little moments like that probably one of my favorite.
Yeah, not that it matters, but he should technically be around about 73. Because 66 years after they were 7.
Makes sense.
Wasn't he turning 8? Because like when he jumps back into the other world, he's like, oh, wait a second, aren't you like 8 now? Yeah, let's put a new sticker.
Yeah, and it's got the little line above his head.
That's because that sticker doesn't exist in the Blue movie because his granddad has already passed away by that time, and no one did the sticker for him, and like, that's sad actually thinking about it.
Yeah.
Do you know, people watching this call will be like, they keep mentioning a Blue movie, but they haven't named it, and they probably think it's some sort of porno.
What? I mean, like as you established, you called it Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Red.
Yeah.
It's like it's easier. It's easier just to call because as no one really wants to call it every time to every you I've loved before, and to me the one who loved you. And it's like every time we say it, look, the fucking full title, it sounds like it just takes effort.
Well, I keep forgetting the names of it, to be fair.
Okay.
Don't blame me.
Yeah, that's that as well.
Yeah. In general, I think the concept. Oh, sorry, Ben. Were you finished? Okay. I think in general, it's a cool concept to have something like this. I don't think I've really watched something quite like this or exactly like this. So it's pretty cool. I think it is nice to see that. What do you call it? He did succeed in bringing her back in time. I was at first kind of confused when I saw the ghost of Shuri kind of like shake his hand physically before she disappeared. Like he saw her first. And obviously the lines in the Red movie post credits slightly different from like it. Oh, they kind of cut it up differently. So you're like, huh? But it's quite interesting how he does meet the ghost version, but she's no longer and then she disappears. And then he ends up meeting the her that no longer remembers her, but has lived this long life. It's interesting. Anyway, yeah,
I mean,
cool
to,
movie.
to be honest, I am glad I chose this movie. It's not for everyone. Scores obvious, right? But like it's like it was not a bad choice because I was so worried that it was gonna be a lot more worse than what you guys scored it, to be honest, because I'm always gonna like, oh, what is this romantic comedy bullshit, Simon? Fucking just like no, all fucking twos, maybe, you know. I mean, like, it's like, oh, okay. I was so worried about it, but I'm glad that you guys have enjoyed it. To be honest, it's a very interesting experience to see, and I am glad you guys like had the experience with of watching it. I don't know if will ever make another. I don't think there was gonna be another film that's gonna be quite like this film because I can't imagine that there will be another parallel universe film that has joined together to make one film. Now I feel like so this is quite a unique film in itself. I feel like I wanted to ask, like your partners and other persons, right? Like I wanted Emmanuel to watch it in one way. I wanted Camilla to watch it the other way and see how they would have watched it. And she's like, how did you like the film? I was like, yeah, I didn't like it that much. I was like, never mind. But I would have liked to see how you guys could have watched it at like not simultaneously, but like watched it and like compared notes. Because if you watched it like that, it would have been again a different experience, and it could have been quite good. But it's the way it is. So I guess now is we've got to forget about the movie for about a year, and we've got to switch around to watch this movie and just to see, did you have the same experience? And it was like, oh yeah, it was different. Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, before we say Pat, what's your movie? This is the shirt I was talking about that I'm wearing. You might have seen it before, I'm not sure, but it's one from Uniqlo from a while ago. But this is a cat. It's like you have Japanese here and here. They're just like in some traditional type house, gazing out on the countryside. It's random.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
So,
Pat. Oh, sorry. You was gonna say something, Sammy.
Oh no, I was gonna say yeah. So yeah, let's. I have to apologize to Pat first because I think I won't be on that call, but I'll try to watch the movie as first though.
That's fine. So,
Movie.
this is a film I've been holding off for a while. I actually watched it on the plane home from America because I was like, I can't be bothered watching anything else. I've got this film coming up, so I'll watch it again now and see how it holds up. I have a feeling I've got the right audience here to announce it. So my film next is Interstellar. Oh,
Yes, I mean, damn it, because it's on the list. Because a lot of films are on the list. I was like, okay, good, right that.
It's a great film. Like,
yeah.
this again. I think I'm gonna enjoy the music even more so the second time around. I don't think I appreciated just how great the music was until it back up in my head. I was seeing different renditions of it, different covers of it. And I was just like, man, great themes in here, some pieces, and just like,
It's definitely one of the best parts of it is the music, definitely. It stands up on its own and with the film as well, which just enhances it.
The music and the corn. The corn is very
the
important.
corn sequences.
Yeah. Well, no, because as this
film.
is a tidbit because I probably won't be there for next week because incredibly busy. I remember that he made a lot of money off the corn because he's a very very like annoying man, to be honest. He has to be so precise. He grew the corn just so he can run over the corn, and he's like, okay, what do I do with this excess corn? Just sell it, okay. And he made like half the budget of the film by selling the corn supposedly. And I'm like, what? Why? Because because it was really good corn, and because it was kept in pristine condition. Because he doesn't want anyone touching it, because he kept it all clear of like all pests and shit. It's actually really good corn, and it's like, okay. So I was like,
that's great. That's
Interstellar. Go watch.
If it I wonder if I should send a song in the chat. It's the won't necessarily get the reference, but it's called "The Corn Does Grow." It's very.
It sounds corny.
But you can watch it. I think it's Amazon.
I think because it is a big film. To be
honest,
on
Amazon and Sky Cinema.
It's on Amazon, Apple. It's probably on most places.
It's a big film. It could be many places.
Well, is it fair to say that the film itself is big, or like the director is big? To be honest,
both.
Oh, actually, is it on Netflix? Give me a second.
No, it's on Sky Cinema for free, and Now TV for free. So you have Now TV, and you have Sky Cinema. You don't have to pay a thing.
Or $3.49 on Amazon Prime.
We get on Amazon, to be honest. It's easier for me.
Okay.
Actually,
to be fair, if you wanted my login, I can give you it.
Nah, it's alright, dude.
Interstellar.
So, I guess the question is, I know that. We just saw you had the DVD, or was that the Blu-ray version of it? Pat?
Yeah. 4K.
Is there like 4K? Oh, is there like some really interesting special features on that?
It says Blu-ray special features: plotting an interstellar journey, shooting in Iceland, celestial landmarks, miniatures in space.
Interesting.
Miniatures
in space. Okay, interesting. Oh Christ! It is a 3-hour movie. Fuck.
Well, it's not quite 3 hours. It's like 2 hours 49.
Oh yeah, 2 hours 49.
So I'd say about 2 hours 35 plus 14 minutes of credits because his
Yeah.
credits last forever.
Well,
Mm.
okay, yes, yeah, that's very true. But if I can make it to call, you probably just see me for like a few minutes before I'll be like, I'm gonna go back. I'll probably just, I'll try to make it.
Yeah.
I'll try to watch
That's
it on
fine.
Wednesday, I guess.
It's
I'll try
good. It's
to
good.
make it, but I might be like, yeah, I'll be like, yeah, it's good. There's some bits that are a bit janky, but apart from that, yeah, it's good. And I'll be off. All right.
Wonderful.
And that's when
Awesome. Okay, and
take care.
Yeah, I'll stop the recording now.